welcome back to the 2021 Asian Le Mans Series. I'm Zara Jurett. To recap, last two races were spent here at the Dubai Autodrome, and here we are right now this weekend at the Yas Marina circuit, where races 3 and 4 will commence. But first, a very unique qualifying session, which will happen very, very shortly. Of course, race 3 will then finish up at night. For now, I'm going to send you up to the commentators, Graham Goodwin and Oliver Gavin, who will tell us everything we need to know. So guys, how's it looking?
Thanks very much, Zara, and delighted to be joined again, as we are for all season, it's 2 weekends, but by Oliver Gavin, motorsport legend indeed. You're absolutely right, Zara, it is another unique qualifying format. It's going to be 15 minutes per class, GTs followed by LMP3s, followed by the LMP2s, but there'll be 2 back-to-back 15-minute qualifying sessions with just 5 minutes in between. So you'll see 15 minutes of GT qualifying action, then a 5-minute gap, then the GTs will go out again to set the grid for race 2, which we'll see tomorrow. So it's going to be quick fire. It's all a bit different though, Ollie, because one set of tyres for those 2 qualifying sessions, it's counted by regulation as a single session.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a challenge for the guys, and I think that it's certainly something they have to be taking into account and how they manage those 2 sessions. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, action-packed. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're here now with this Yas Marina circuit.
And it's 5.5 kilometres, 21 turns, through turn 1 and then into the sweepers of 2 and the 3, high-speed stuff. There can be get pinged here for track limits at 4 and into 5. Then out of 7, really important to get a good run off of there and down this long back straight. Going to be topping at nearly 300 kilometres an hour in a P2 car. Then through 8 to 9, 9 important for traction off of there. Down the long straight again and into 11, another important braking point and good for overtaking. Out of there, and this starts to get very complex and quite technical through here, and then into one of the trickiest parts of the racetrack, into turn 17, braking important there, and then underneath the iconic bridge there at the hotel, round and through 20 and 21 and on to finish another lap.
Yeah, it is indeed a pretty unique racing environment. What is it, 2009 this circuit opened. It still looks brand new, looks absolutely beautiful. And later on today, you're going to get the chance to see the cars, not just in this 4-hour race, but finishing under the lights. You've had a chance to see it trackside, Ollie. They do look fantastic.
Oh, it's spectacular around here. You know, the cars look great. You know, 3 classes here in multi-class racing. I think it's going to be spectacular 4 hours.
Fantastic places, fantastic cars, fantastic racing to come. Cars are on track for this first 15 minutes qualifying session. And already out there, and I think on a quick lap now, this Ben Barnicoat aboard the number 7 Inception Racing McLaren. First time we've seen the 720S GT3 in Asian Le Mans Series competition. I think, Ollie, this is a car you're keeping your eye on, together with the BMWs here. They've been really, really quick in testing and free practice.
Yeah, the McLaren has been very good, but been very strong throughout all of the testing and all of the free practice. the Inception Racing run car. Ben Barnicoat has been very strong and near the top of the timesheets, and so I'm expecting strong things. They were looking forward to this one maybe a little bit more than Dubai, and so I expect to see a good, strong performance from their this weekend.
And those BMW M6 GT3s here weren't quite on the pace, although there was a podium for the 35 car in race 1 at Dubai, but they do appear to have quite a lot of giddy up, don't they?
Yeah, they've got a lot of power. And, you know, 2 big long straights here, and I think that they're going to be in the mix, but there are a number of slow speed corners that could see a bit of tyre degradation. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to be that strong over the long run of the 4 hours.
To take you through some of the names that are actually out there on track at the moment, as Ben Barnicoat does complete that lap. He's the first man to complete a flying lap. It's a 2:08.489 is the mark there. Ben is aboard the number 7 Inception Racing McLaren. Kessel Racing's number 27 Ferrari. That's in the hands of Giorgio Roda. Sami Matti-Trögen, this is he's a sim racer, isn't he?
Yep.
In the 35 Valkenhurst BMW. Com Ledegar is aboard the 57, Kessel Racing by Car Guy Ferrari. Hub Auto's AMG, unsurprisingly in the hands of Raffaele Marciello, another, we think, potentially form car for this.
Yeah, talking to the team earlier on in the week, they seemed very confident. Their long run pace in race pace simulation was very, very good, and certainly it's they've got high hopes again for this weekend. So yeah, they're another strong candidate.
Yep, the 34 Valkenhurst BMW in the hands of Nicky the Cat Katzberg. Ollie Hancock in the TF Sport 95 Aston Martin Vantage GT3. Julian Andlauer, they've been the form team GPX Racing, the number 40 car, and it's the Porsche factory driver that's given qualifying duties here. Davide Rigon in the 55 Rinaldi Ferrari, another factory driver. Already we've got a lap time deleted. That is gone for Giorgio Roda, has lost a lap time. Sami Matti-Trögen is the second man to complete a flying lap, but that's some way down on Ben Barnicoat's offer. Ben has driven this car here before, a couple of times in fact, here just a few weeks ago for the Abu Dhabi 6 hours, but before that gave the car its racing debut here, and actually was the form car in the Gulf 12 Hours some years ago, as we see the 57 car hopping over the curbs, Ollie.
Yes, I think the track limits are going to be an issue in this session, much like we saw in Dubai, and I think we're going to see a number of laps deleted, much to the frustration, I think, of the drivers and of the teams. But yes, I think that the McLaren has been strong here. It's been strong here in the past, and I think that they're expecting good things.
Good stuff. Yeah, good shot. The 97 car. That is the Oman Racing with TF car in the hands of Johnny Adam, another factory driver. 16 factory drivers in this field.
Yep.
And that's been, I think they're looking forward to great things here this weekend. Klaus Bachler is in the 93 Prekut Herberth car. Yeah,
that's the Porsche has another 15 kilos of ballast here this weekend after another BOP adjustment. So successful at Dubai. But out on track, watching that car earlier on in the weekend, it still looks very strong, very poised, good balance.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of the Aston Martins, 5 Aston Martin Vantage GT3s here. There were 7 Ferraris here, 488 GT3s, and they've been given a little bit of a turbo boost, if you like, for this weekend. Just completing the drivers who've got out there at the moment. Robert Renard, it is in the 99 car, the Prekut Herberth car that won the first race. Tom Gamble is out there in that 77 car that's just in the wake of the 97 Aston Martin. He's in the 77 D Station Racing Aston Martin, the beautiful dark green car there.
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be the session that every driver will want to do. It's early, the track's not too warm, and they're also on the new tyre. I think the second session might be somewhat trickier.
2:08.123 it is now for Ben Barnicoat, and he's extended his lead, but not for very long, because right on his heels, Maxime Martin, 2:08.230, just over a tenth of a second back in the number 88 Garage 59 car, third quickest, and within a second of the provisional pole is the TF Sport car, Ollie Hancock, and it's got to be close to record pace here, certainly qualifying record pace in GT3. Hub Auto go to the top though, Raffaele Marciello. And you said already you thought that AMG GT3 Evo might be in the mix here. Well, at the moment it's all about the Mercedes, the McLaren and the Aston Martins. Where will we see the Porsches coming to the reckoning? And the answer is second.
Right there.
So 2:07.586 is the mark to beat. That comes from the AMG GT factory driver Raffaele Marciello. Julian Andlauer is just 0.3 of a second back, also in the 2:07s as the quick time started to come. 2:08.1 Ben Barnicoat in the McLaren. So the spread between the top three is still half a second, and still 4.5 minutes to go with this session.
Yeah, but it looks a little bit closer there with the Porsche coming back, being reined in slightly by that extra ballast it's carrying. The Mercedes does look strong. You know, Marciello has done an excellent lap there, and you know, Barnicoat's pitted in the McLaren.
So that will be them done for this session.
Yeah.
It's a quick lap time, by the way, coming right now for Maxime Martin. He's currently 5th. Johnny Adam has popped up into 4th fastest.
Yep.
So the Astons are looming here. The BMWs are looming here. They've not quite got there yet. Marciello looks like he's going to be going quicker this time around. He's got purple sector 2. But what about the 97 car? This Johnny Adam pops up into 4th place, and he's going quicker again than he's been before. There are times still here to come. It is AMG from Porsche, from Ferrari, from McLaren, from Aston Martin. 5 mates in the top 5, then the second Aston, then the first BMW, another pair of Aston Martins, and the second Porsche. That is your top 10.
Yeah, just watching, I think it was Johnny Adam coming off of turn 9 there, you know, scrabbling for traction out onto this long back straight down into turn 11.
And it's another make up now into 3rd place. So that's the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari with Davide Rigon, but he's bumped back because now Maxime Martin goes 2nd. It's just 2/10 off provisional pole position now. But here's Marciello. Can he improve from a 2:07.586? Crosses the line, and I don't think there is an improvement there.
Poor 3rd sector there. Something maybe traffic, or he just dropped it, maybe even track limits. But yeah, it was interesting to sort of see how it all shakes out. I'm looking at the Aston Martins, and I was watching them out on track earlier on in the weekend. I wasn't that convinced by them. They didn't look that balanced, but maybe they've got very good 1-lap pace. Interesting to see how they go. Looks
to me like Marciello is lifted off for this lap. Yep. So it is Marciello in the AMG GT3.
And I think the drivers here will be thinking about, okay, we've got another one to come here.
And you've got to look after these tyres.
Exactly. You get 1, maybe 2 laps out of the tyre, then cool it, bring it in, slow, then go again in the second session.
But popping up into 2nd, just as we say that, comes Klaus Bachler, and it's the Porsche 2nd quickest now. So 2 Porsches in the top 4. That extra ballast has had an effect, but not quite the ultimate effect that perhaps...
I think that, you know, with the Porsche here, it's another good track for them. You know, they're always good with traction, engine in the rear, looking to lay that power down, you know, particularly off of like 7 and turn 9 and turn 11. They're all very important corners for lap time here.
Yeah, the times are coming. Davide Rigon just moments ago was up in 3rd position, now down to 7th. That's how quickly this is all changing. We are into the last 2 minutes of this part of the session. Remember, this is to set the grid in GT for race 1, which you'll see later this evening. Both races finishing in full darkness, but under the lights here at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi.
Surprised by the sort of lack of pace of the Ferrari here this weekend. The cars look good on track, but you know, at the moment, there's 4 Ferraris at the bottom of the timesheets.
Yeah, I'm looking as well, by the way, at the Precard Herbeth car, the number 93 car. Because that has gone for a Sector 1 time, absolutely, he's gone purple, quicker than he's gone before. He's only got a 1/10.5 to catch the provisional pole setter. So Klaus Bachler at the moment looks to me potentially to be on course here for a shot at pole position for race 1. Also going quickly, Davide Rigon is back up to 4th with his last efforts, and he's got time to complete this lap.
Yeah, and actually, I've said that about the Ferraris, and they're now doing their laps, and it looks like, you know, Per Guidi and Giancarlo Fisichella.
But indeed, Per Guidi pops up to 5th quickest. As you say, we'll get one more shot at this. It's a quicker sector 2 from the 93 car. He's going to be approaching the end of this lap. This is the man we're looking at now. Just 16 seconds to go on the clock. Now, he will get another shot at this if he wants it. There's going to be time to complete this lap and go. Where does Klaus Bachler emerge here? He's had a poor 3rd sector.
Yeah.
Hub Auto have pitted. They're done.
That could be the tyres just dropping off.
Yeah.
And it's cried enough.
So AMG at the moment it is with the bragging rights in this session. Raffaele Marciello with a 2:07.586. And Klaus Bachler had a good old go at that, but couldn't quite do it. Looks to me like Maxime Martin is on his way back to the pits, and he will go no further in this session.
I think all the teams will be sitting there mindful of what's coming next.
Checkered flag is out. Remember, the cars on their flying laps can still complete that lap. Alessandro Pier Guidi is probably the one to watch from that lot. Ben Barnicoat, though, is been pitted, of course, didn't he? But
Yes,
so the
he did.
one car that does look to me to be on a real pace here is Alessandro Pierguidi in the 51, although I've got a weather eye as well on Nicholas Nielsen, the number 60 car. So Klaas Backler not quite able there to challenge for the pole position, but front row at the moment, assuming that the 51 car doesn't make it through to the front row on the lap he's on now.
Yeah.
That's the car with the dual number panels, the red car with the...
Beautiful looking car.
It is Heritage 51 circular kind of number panels alongside the regulation panels in GT. They're the orange backed.
Yeah, interesting. Maxime Martin went for that that fifth lap, which is a lot.
And Maxime completes that lap, and he is third on the grid at the moment. We wait for the 51 car.
Hub Auto there seem quite relaxed.
And he goes second. He goes second. It's a 2:07.689 as he crosses the line. Almost a 10th flat back from the pole position setting AMG. That is our pole position car. I don't think anybody else is going to improve dramatically there. But Alessandro Pierguidi it is. Completes that lap and puts the Ferrari on the front row.
Impressive lap there.
This is the 60 car. This is Nicholas Nielsen. Now, as Nicholas has completed his lap, not a massive improvement for him, but will complete the session in 14th place. And some of this will be a car set up with that compromise that we know is so important in Pro-Am racing here.
So Klaas Backler's had a lap deleted.
But
Does track limits in turn 2.
That's laps 2 to 8.
Whoa.
He's lost all his laps. Well, it can't be 2 to 8 because he's only done 5 laps. So I'm not quite sure what that means on the timing screens, but we'll keep an eye on Klaas Backler's lap. But at the moment he sits third, so knocked off the front row just now. AMG from Ferrari, 1-2 it is, 2:07.586. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, 7 cars in the 2:07s, 8 cars in the 2:07s. Well, quick, and very quick. Going to be interested to see what happens now. So the teams are now coming back to the pits. They can change drivers if they wish to do so. It would be odd to see that.
Yes, I think it would, because you want that driver to understand what they've done with the tyre and how they're then going to get back out there and warm that tyre up again and get everything back into the window. Trying to do that with a fresh driver, really tough.
They've got to use the same tyres, but they can take the tyres off between the sessions, pop them back into the tyre warmers and keep a little bit more...
Yeah, repressure. They could look to make a couple of pressure adjustments, and if there's a particular issue that a driver's having one end or the other, that's how they could tune it. But apart from that, I don't believe they can do anything else.
So you would expect, I guess, to see marginally slower times for these cars in the second session?
Yes, and particularly, there's cars here who have just put 4, possibly 3, even some teams have put 5 laps on their tyres, and I think that depending on whether they manage to do that lap time in that first time lap or the second time lap, it could have a big effect on how they perform in their next session.
I do wonder, looking at Nicholas Nielsen's time there, he's down in 14th position. Has he just kept the life in those tyres maybe for a run at this second session? Is that maybe the kind of tactic that might come into this? Looking further down the list, we've got 2 or 3 names that are, I wouldn't say languishing, that would be wrong, but Ben Bonnicoat, looked like he was potentially pole. He's actually way down there in 12th position at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised by that, and maybe that they've asked him just to push it, see what he can do, but don't absolutely ring it and don't completely use every little bit of goodness from the tyre, and maybe they're playing the longer game. But I'm surprised that they are that far down. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how things work out in this next session. And the track conditions should be very, very similar. It
should. 16 cars within a single second. They're the teams are getting ready for the second crack at this 15-minute discipline for qualifying. And a number of the cars there up on the Jackson with wheels off. They'll be just going to pop into the tyre warmers. Already the 40 car, though, heading for pit out. And Julian Andlau it was in the first session. I'm sure we're going to see him again in the second. In fact, he's already out there. We're into the second session. Andlau, Martin, Kirchhofer already out on track. Here comes the 77 car.
Yeah, and Tom Gamble in a D-station car just heading out. And he had a tough Dubai. The car did not look track underneath him, and I think the team have been working away at their setup, and it looked like yesterday evening they were getting closer, a lot closer.
Difficult for a team like D-Station. We'll talk about their major programme in the WC, I'm sure, later in the weekend. Coming from success in Japan with this car, with this GT3 car, with their championship-winning car, Super Taikyu, you do wonder whether or not they've got themselves maybe a little bit into a blind alley with setups they're bringing to a completely different discipline, really, here.
Yeah,
with the same car.
Yeah, different tyre that they'll be running on in Japan to what they're running on here, and so that could be leading them down a little bit of a blind alley with setup. But you know, hopefully they've managed to get themselves a little bit back on track. And certainly last night they looked a lot more competitive.
So you've got Julian Andlau here, who's got a couple of Aston Martins ahead, 15 minutes to set this time. What do you do here? Do you try to pass, give it a whirl, or do you hold back and give yourself some space here, Ollie?
Well, you know, you're trying to find that clean piece of racetrack, but here you know, maybe a toe could help, but I think that Julian Andlau is finally backed off a little bit and just going to give the Aston Martins a little bit of room, because following a car that closely is not the wisest thing to do. Absolutely. Not on a full lap.
Here's the number 60 car. Nicholas Nielsen it was in both sessions for this car. That's maybe one to watch. Is this just a car that's not quite where it needs to be, where it should be?
Yeah.
Or were they just biding their time for this session and having a crack at the top?
Yeah.
Nicholas Nielsen, young Danish driver. And this was initially supposed to be an all-Danish crew, but with the travel restrictions around the planet at the moment, Frederick Pelton has opted not to join us, and I'm sure he's watching in, and best wishes to you, Frederick. But Johnny Lauerson, the owner of Formula Racing, is the man behind this effort. Previous ELMS GTE winning, a title-winning squad back in the last decade, and great to see them back in international sports car racing after a period away with success in one-make Ferrari racing.
Yeah, I think we can see that nearly every team has used the same driver. And
which is the right way to go.
Yeah,
you'd think, wouldn't you? Unless you've got somebody that, for whatever reason, is lacking a bit of time. But there's been plenty of lots of private testing. We've not had the issues with fog that we had at Dubai here. There has been fog for a number of the mornings here at Dubai, at Gas Marina.
Looks like number 60 is looking for a little bit of room out on track. Just breathing it before coming into turn 17.
So it's a bit of a quick fire, albeit slightly different as it comes under the iconic
beautiful
bridge at the W Hotel.
And this is the inevitable problem that happens in qualifying. One car backs up and it backs it up into another car, and then you can see the Kessel cars having to back off there,
really
give themselves some room. But then someone else will be coming around the corner. 19 cars in this GT field, and it's a big track here, but you know, there's only so much room for everybody.
Absolutely. Round the final turn and power down for that run to the start-finish line.
Traction is a very important thing here at Yas Marina. There's a lot of slow-speed corners, and getting that power down off the corner, down all these long straights, it's super important for lap time.
Conrad Degar aboard the number 57 car, and by quirk of the rule book, two big names in that 57 car, with Mikkel Jensen joining him. Mikkel, a gold-ranked driver this year, but because we are actually the 2020-2021 Asian Le Mans Series, he retains his silver status for last year for the purposes of this championship only. So Mikkel Jensen will join Conrad Degar and Kimura-san in the car guy entered car with Kessel Racing this year, not with AF Corsa, as we saw them supported with the last season in the Asian Le Mans Series, and indeed in their title-winning season the previous year.
So Maxime Martin is the first one to put a lap time down at 2:08.599. He's quickly beaten by his teammate Marvin Korchoffer.
Yeah,
2:08.346.
Yeah, Marvin, one of those drivers that has not fared well from the ravages of COVID on the international motorsport calendar, and been looking a bit of seat time. He's delighted to be here. We're delighted to have him. 2:08.346 it is, 69 thousandths of a second quicker than new second-place car Julian Andlau in that GPX Racing car that's been looming throughout this season so far as being the form car.
Yeah, Tom Gamble's just put a time in there. He's P4 at the moment in the D-Station car, but he's some 4/10 off of the best of the other Aston Martin in the field, the car that's now P2, Marvin Kirchhoff
yeah,
car.
but straight into the 207s on his first flying lap. That's Alessandro Pierguidi. We saw him making that run at the end of the last session. He's done it at the start of this session. He puts 4/10 on the closest competitor, that Marvin Kirchhoff's lap. Julian Andlauer has got a bit of room here in the number 40 car, the GPX racing car. Remember, this is the car that won race 2 in Dubai and led almost throughout until a last couple of laps stumble from Alan Ferté.
Yes.
I think we would both agree we thought that was maybe a bit of a strategic blunder from the team.
Yeah, I think they were sort of boxed into a bit of a corner and they couldn't get themselves out of it. And he ended up in the car at the end of the race. And, yeah.
Here is Alessandro Pierguidi, FIWC GT Drivers World Champion from 2017, together with James Collado, and he joins Osnegri and Francesco Piervenetti.
That lap time that he's just done is about 3/10 off what he did in the first qualifying session.
Yep.
So it's not much of a drop off.
And, he's gone, by the way, purple in sector 1 on this lap,
yep.
so this is quick again. Also watching for what's going to come here from Tom Gamble. It's a quick lap from Tom Gamble. I think that's going to vault him up the order too. So he's the only man in the 207s at the moment, Alessandro Pierguidi. Nicholas Nielsen, meanwhile, gets a lap deleted for track limits as we speak.
Yep.
So it is Pierguidi from Kirchhoff, now Andlauer in second, 208.1. Then Kirchhoff, Maxime Martin. So Ferrari from Porsche front row at the moment. Then the 2 Aston Martins, 3 because Gamble goes third. It's a much better effort from him.
That's a great lap.
Then Davide Rigon, Klaus Bachler, Nicky the Cat Katzberg in the BMW M6 GT3, Con Ledegar and Johnny Adam. That's your top 10 with half of this session complete. But I think it's got a bit more life in it, this.
Yep.
Lots of green sectors.
Pierguidi is on another good lap, and I think he's going to improve. Oh, he has a poor third sector and doesn't improve.
We've seen that, haven't we?
Yeah.
A number of times here.
I think it's that really tricky complex around sort of 17, 18 all the way through to the finish, and he just fries the tyres.
As he fails to improve, one man does, and it does by a chunk, and it's Raffaele Marciello goes back to the top of a timing screen, second session in succession.
It's impressive. I mean, it's only a 10th off what he did in the first session.
Yep, 207.688, consistent pair of qualifying sessions so far for the Hub Auto
it
car.
kind of backs up what the team was saying earlier on about their long run pace.
Yep.
Hardly any degradation in the tyre.
Straight into another purple sector in sector 1 as well, so can the Italian hold a second rapid lap together?
He did smack the curbs there at that chicane at turn 5 and 6 to see if that's thrown him off slightly, but yeah, he's going for it.
Yeah, Pierguidi doesn't look to be looking on an improving lap. In fact, he's lifted off on this lap. But Andlauer is improving too. Ben Barnicoat pops up into 4th, now 5th, because Davide Rigon pops into 3rd. Patrick Kajala comes into 4th in the Rinaldi Racing AM entered car.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yes.
Kujala.
So Kajala is a usual spirited run around any racetrack that has the audacity to challenge him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Raffaelli's on another good lap here in the Mercedes. It's another strong lap, flashing the lights. You know, he's gone purple in the second sector.
Yeah, this is a good lap from Raffaele Marciello. BMWs haven't quite shown the form we perhaps expected here yet.
No, I think that they're struggling with the slow speed stuff. Anything really slow in the third gear corner, and the M6 is not a happy beast, really.
Not really. We'll see whether she can race. But at the moment she's qualifying. But Marciello it is. That's a 207.688, remember, as is the pole time at the moment for race 2. That is tomorrow's race. Again, late in the evening here for that second race. And again, finishing under the lights to complete the season. Remember, after that race, champions will be crowned in each of the 3 classes and the 2 subclasses, by the way, LMP2 AM and GT AM. But in addition, those 6 automatic invitations to the Le Mans 24 Hours, 4 from this class.
And Raffaele Marciello does improve a 207.305, and that's better than his first qualifying session. So that's impressive.
That's a car that is looking after its tyres.
Yes, and if I was in one of his rival cars I'll be looking at. That looks a bit ominous.
Looking at Johnny Adam here, he's just gone purple in the second sector this lap. He's green in the first sector, so an improving time coming from the man in the Oman Racing with TF car.
Certainly a lot of power in that Aston Martin. It's certainly been going purple in that second sector, which is pretty much all straight and all power. So that extra bit of boost is helping those guys.
And his second sector purple time is beaten by Kirchhofer. Davide Rigon moves up to second place, meanwhile, ahead of Alessandro Pierguidi. Ferrari factory driver, best Ferrari factory driver. Klaus Bachler is up into third. So all of a sudden, Pierguidi is being shuffled back as the times come into the 207s in rapid fire order and very close to the R2. 207.895 from Rigon, 207.902, 7 thousandths off from Bachler, and then just 3 thousandths off that for Alessandro Pierguidi.
Yeah, it's I'm impressed with the Hub Auto lap time in the Mercedes. Very, very strong. They maybe just had a small adjustment in pressure, and that's really got the car in the zone.
So here come the Aston Martins. What can happen here? Kirchhofer goes third. So Kirchhofer shuffles Davide Rigon back. So it's second row at the moment for Kirchhofer. As we're into the final 4 minutes of this session. Mercedes AMG from Porsche, Aston Martin, Ferrari before we get any make with the second car. That's going to be Porsche at the moment. Johnny Adam did improve to 7th with that lap time.
Maxime Martin hasn't really been on the move, not in this session. He is quicker on this current lap that he's on. To see how he goes in the second sector.
Yeah, top 6 cars, Ollie, separated by just over 0.2 of a second in this session. That's encouraging stuff for the racing to come later this weekend. Bear in mind, not on fresh tyres now. These tyres have had, well, close to half an hour of running.
Yes.
And hard running at that. But well, it looks to me at the moment as if there's nothing out there at the moment looking set to challenge Marciello's effort. He's now pitted the AMG. Number 1 car, of course, courtesy of their championship win last year in the Ferrari. Look, to me, the 57 car is off the track, I think.
Yeah. And the 40 car going slow here. Maybe he's looking for a little bit of space.
The 57 car has stopped
red
on
flag,
track.
Yeah.
It is a red flag. Clock has stopped. 2 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. And is Marciello going to go again here?
I doubt it very much.
Or just waiting to see whether or not they might. So Colin Edegard's got that car off the racing circuit, not quite into a place of safety, but a red flag it is.
So I must have missed it that the Hub Auto car had that last lap time disallowed.
Right, so 207.688 it is.
There's other drivers are getting laps deleted for abusing track limits.
Robert Renard, the number 99 car. Where's that car? That's in 11th place. That was the winner in race 1 after the mistake for Alain Ferté. Saw the GPX car spinning away the lead.
It's interesting to see who is up here compared to the previous session. You know, the Hub Auto car was on pole for the first race, and it looks like it's going to grab pole for the second. But it's the GPX racing car is now in P2 for the second race that's going to happen tomorrow, so or race 4 as we're calling it.
Absolutely.
And so they've done a fine job.
They're there where they need to be to make that challenge for the title. Remember, they're going to be looking to win this title. They're also going to be mindful of those top 4 positions.
I mean, that's the thing that all of these teams have a laser focus on.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, those spots at Le Mans, those invitations are all important. And there's 4 up for grabs, isn't there?
There are, and a lot of teams that have never been there before. Hub Auto were there, courtesy of their championship win last year, of course.
Yeah.
But GPX Racing, Garage 59 in their current iteration have not been there before. Rinaldi Racing, Preckert Herberth have not been there. AF Corsa, of course. They're usually with multiple cars. Session will restart, we're being told by race control, on a short call. TF Racing have been there before, but Inception Racing with Optimum, they've not.
No.
But D Station will be there this year, courtesy of their WEC entry.
Right.
Volcanhurst Motorsport certainly have not been before. Formula Racing have, just the once. And Car Guy have been before, courtesy of their championship win in the Asia Le Mans Series. And then last year, under the MR Racing banner, taking over that entry.
So currently at the moment, it's GPX in the 4 spots to get the invitation. It's GPX Racing, Precourt Herberth, Inception Racing, and Garage 59. They're the 4 teams that are in those positions to get that automatic invitation.
But 8 hours more of racing on a very different racetrack,
Indeed.
and that could all be turned upside
absolutely.
down.
Yeah.
And all you need here, really, Ollie, I mean, we're talking through this with a couple of the teams earlier this weekend. One error, one bit of bad luck, one incident,
Yep.
and that's a big bunch of points that doesn't go your way.
Exactly. You know, it's all about just executing, doing the basics well.
Let's just take you through this classification at the top of the order, as we've got 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 42 seconds to go. That will allow these teams to get around and do one more flying lap if they choose to do so. And it looks to me like they're expecting the 57 car back, because the lollipop for the 57 was back out in pit lane. So as soon as that car is out of the way, we will be restarting. But it's Raffaele Marciello for the Hub Auto AMG squad. We're going to be going back, by the way, to green flag racing, green flag running in under a minute's time. The AMG leads this session at 2:07.688.
Just seeing some drivers getting out their cars there in the pit lane.
Yep.
I think a couple of the Aston Martins.
Don't think we're going to see everybody back out here for this one.
I mean, I would be surprised, but
there are a number of lollipops ready to release these cars. I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they choose to go, TF are going to go.
Yep, they're going to go. I feel they've got something left in the tank, and they want to see what they can do, have another crack.
So at the moment, the 95 car. Now, where is that in the order?
Ollie Hancock's down 15th.
15th. 208.672. Under a second off pole, by the way, for Ollie.
Yep.
And that's a team that will be going to the ELMS this year, as well as the WEC.
So Inception's going out again, the Precourt Herberth car. Yeah,
Now we're going to get some last-minute dramas. We are back to green.
Yeah, the BMW guys have, I think, decided that's enough.
With this unique pit lane exit here, as the cars dive down and underneath the racetrack, emerge from the tunnel there, on the opposite side of the track. Amazing facility, 3 separate pit lanes here.
Yeah, Klaus Bachler back out on track, being followed out by Ollie Hancock in the TF Sport car.
So 3 cars out at the moment, and those cars at the moment sit 5th in the order for Klaus Bachler. I think he might fancy a go at this, you know.
Yeah, and Ben Barnicoat in the McLaren. I think that to me, they've just not quite shown everything here in this session. I think that they're better for a race pace.
Yep.
And for a longer run.
Those 3 cars, line astern.
They're all fighting over the same bit of racetrack, desperate to get this going, trying to get round so that they can start their lap. And that this is not just a wasted out lap.
Yep. Another 2 laps on the tyres, 3 laps on the tyres.
Just getting everything back up to temperature here.
So follow my leader at the moment, 93, 95 and the number 7 car are the only 3 takers at this point.
And at some point you have to call it and go, okay, right, well, we can't all operate in this same spot of the racetrack. We need, so we're not falling over one another. We just got to breathe it, back it up, find my spot.
Absolutely. Certainly, we're not going to see any other of these cars emerge now. Too late to come round to start that lap. So it's all about the 3 cars on track right now.
Yeah, and they're still following one another.
So it's going to be here, or you got to think Barnicoat possibly lift off here.
Yeah, well, I think Barnicoat's waiting to see if Ollie Hancock lifts off, and then he's going to sneak by him. I don't know whether he's going to play that game, but surely Ben will have to breathe it here just to give himself some space. Don't see what
Ollie's pulling back here,
yeah.
So Ollie's lifted off a little. Barnicoat does the same as they come around the final 2 turns. Bachler's no problem here. He just has to get the loud pedal down. Now we've got a little bit more space. Not that comfortable though, is it?
No, it's very close, and maybe Ben's looking for a little bit of a tow, but you know, it can upset the front of the car, get the car to wash out a little bit here in all the high speed. Might be giving something up in that first sector.
So through we come. The time has expired, and these 3 cars will get this lap and no more. Klaus Bachler in the number 93 car. 5th quickest at the moment is best at 2:07.902. Keeping an eye on that car. Ben Barnicoat is first man in the 208s on his best lap, 208.090. Lee Hancock will be looking to beat his 208.672, which is 0.984 off the provisional pole time of Raffaele Marciello in the number 1 Hub Auto racing car.
Nobody's gone green in that first sector, so nobody's improving right now. But that McLaren is very slippery, and this is maybe where you would be able to see with extra little bit of toe from the TF Sport car that could just get it in the window.
Barnicoat is just too close to that Aston Martin, you know.
Yeah, I think he's misjudged that.
23.713 it was from the Porsche, 24.006 from the McLaren, 24.159 from the Aston Martin. So if we're looking for anybody to get close to improvement, it's a lot more likely to be this car, the 93, the Hansa Class Backler.
And he's not gone better. He's not improving.
He's not improving.
No.
So my guess is he'll see that presumably on his Delta.
Yeah, nobody's improving.
And they will likely abort these laps. Unless there's something else in play here.
Yeah.
If they're trying something.
I can't honestly think what it would be.
No.
So I would say that it will be.
So that is going to be the classification for this second race start to the times we're seeing in live timing at the moment are for race 2, which will be tomorrow. And that will be Raffaele Marciello in the number 1 Hub Auto AMG GT3 Evo. We'll start from pole position from Julian Andlauer's number 40 GPX Racing Porsche 911 GT3R, 0.136 of a second back. Tiny margins. Martin Kirchhofer in the number 89 Aston Martin Vantage GT3 from Garage 59 will start third, just, what's that, 200ths a second back. And then a massive 500ths back to Ferrari factory driver Davide Rigon in the number 55 Rinaldi Racing car. That's car second in the last race at Dubai.
Yeah. So
they're beginning to come on form. Klaus Bachler, we saw there, unable to improve. He will be on the third row in the number 93 Precourt Herbeth car. That's the Carrera slot car liveried 911 GT3R, and completing row 3, I think your favourite livery of the season so far, the somewhat heritage liveried Ferrari, as the 57 car is towed back after we're not quite sure what went on there for the 57 Kessel by car guy. But Alessandro Pierguidi, Ferrari factory driver in the 51 AF Corsa car, will start alongside Klaus Bachler on row 3.
He was the one setting the pace, wasn't he?
He
at
was
the start
indeed.
there, and he didn't quite hold out. I mean, Raffaele Marciello came through with an extremely competitive time there in the Hub Auto Mercedes.
But encouragingly close times there, and particularly encouraging, we saw the close times not just in the first session, but in the second session too with the older rubber.
Yes.
Same tyres, remember, those 2 sessions. Action's not over, remember. We've got 2 more classes to come, and 2 more times 2 equals 4 50-minute sprint qualifying sessions. LMP3 will be next up with the 10-car field we've got here of LMP3s, 8 Ligiers, a single Duquesne, but that's the DCAR engineering car that has real form. And then at the moment, unique and debuting Ginetta. The team's still looking for pace there, but my understanding is Charlie Robertson looking to persuade the team to put that car into a trim where there's a little less drag, that he can actually be able to get some more speed out the car. Let's go down now to the pit lane where Zara has a driver with her to speak to after that qualifying session.
Thanks so much, Graham. Here we are with Roberto Marciello for Hub Auto, who got pole position 3 and 4 for the GT class. Roberto, how was that?
It was a good session for us. I mean, double pole, it means we had a great car. The race will be long, it's 4 hours, but I mean, our team is doing great. I have good teammates. So I mean, I look forward and we will see what happens.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, Graham, back to you.
A somewhat blue-haired Raffaele Marciello there, by the look of things. But
yes,
Raffaele, never a man that shows, oddly, too much emotion for an Italian.
No. He's had that blue hair since Dubai, so he's been rocking it.
He either chose it as a fashion statement or something went terribly wrong on that one haircut that's been allowed in Dubai.
Maybe it was a bet. Who knows?
But either way.
But critically, actually, for the championship, I believe you get 1 point for pole position. So, I mean, points make prizes.
Points make both championships and potentially looking to send the Hub Auto Corsa team back to Le Mans for second consecutive time.
Indeed.
Car looks great, brand new car for the team, and they did struggle a little, I think, at Dubai to get their heads around that package.
It was so new, and you know, Philip, who's running the team there, he was really sort of trying to get his head around everything with the car, and it's so new. I mean, he literally got the car at the start of the week, so in Dubai. So yeah, they've been working away, really sort of crunching the numbers and going through all the setup, and here they've really hit the ground running.
And he's nailed it. He's a driver of real quality, Raffaele Marciello, and he's shown that against, I mean, real opposition. 19 cars. It's a record entry in the GT class, part of that record 36-car entry overall for the full season here in the Asia Le Mans Series.
Many factory drivers.
Many factory drivers. I think 16 across all three classes.
It's impressive.
So, back to see the cars on track for the LMP3 session. As I say, 10 cars there. We'll call out who's going to be on qualifying duty as we get to the cars on track. But looking forward to this one as well. Those 8 Ligiers, that Duquesne. The previous car, the Norma that's been derived from, was a rocket ship in a straight line. It's a little needle nose. And I think Charlie Robertson, if he's managed to persuade the ARC Bratislava guys to put that little Ginetta into a lower drag configuration for these qualifying sessions, maybe we'll see a little bit more of the potential of that Ginetta package. It's very new, but great to see that third LMP3 chassis out and in competition.
Yeah, the United Autosports crew have pretty much dominated this LMP3 class at Dubai, but these guys are challenging, and the DKR team in the Duquesne, and they had an extremely strong run in that second race at Dubai. But they just faltered in those last few laps. They had some issue, some problem, tyres falling off, couldn't quite get to the bottom of it. But they seem relatively confident. Speaking to Kendi, the team manager, he was pretty confident about this weekend. And like you say, it's pretty slippery, that car.
And the key thing here is, if that car has got any kind of advantage on this track, it's the only one.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've thrown the dice. This is the package that they've been going with real success in the Michelin Le Mans Cup.
In Dubai, they did go slightly off strategy than everyone else, and with those 2 early full course yellows, and so I think that did play into their hands a little bit, but still they had good pace.
They basically, it had them leading the pack for long periods, didn't
it?
But
did.
Unfortunately, they didn't get the caution they needed to get that to play back into their hands. They were forced into a position where they weren't able to cash in on that advantage gained on track position earlier in the race.
Yeah,
so the cars making their way towards pit exit, and we've already got cars on track. Delighted to see that one of them is the number 4 car, the Phoenix Racing number 4, Hans of Leo Weiss. That car had a heavy accident under the bridge at the W Hotel during one of the test sessions, and the team did an excellent job to get that car back together. Colin Noble is out there in the number 9 Nielsen Racing car. This is Malte Jakobsen, the young Dane we were talking about a lot.
He had a very strong run at that start of that second race in Dubai, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Very, very good.
I think he's going to be looking to take that car to the front of the race this weekend as well. Matt Bell is out there in the number 8 Nielsen Racing car, so both the Nielsen cars are already out. Wayne Boyd, double winner in Dubai with the 23 car, and defending ELMS champion later this year in the first of the United cars to be out on track. Who else is out there? Adam Ateki, he's one to watch in the number 33 car. Look for that.
Yeah, he had a strong run.
Yeah, it's a kind of metallic cherry red, the CD Sport car. Looks absolutely stunning. And Merrick is out there in the number 2 United Autosports car. They had a strong run in race 2 in the second race at Dubai. So drivers coming out now. We're just waiting to see the number 3 United car, the Ginetta, the 44 car that was out on pit lane, and the DKR car.
Duncan Tappy in the...
It is Duncan.
Yep.
So some quick drivers out there right now.
Yeah, I mean they've all got a chance in LMP3.
Yes.
Except for maybe the Ginetta. It's not
it's
quite.
Very new.
It's very, very new. But really, you can sort of throw a blanket over all of these cars.
This is Adam Ateki. That's not a car you're going to mistake. It's a kind of cherry metallic red with those high-vis yellow health and safety type highlights on the car, and he's been right in the mix for the other 2 races when the young man has been aboard this car. He's been right in the mix.
He has been very strong.
a chat with a couple of the CD Sports team last night, and they're delighted with the form. They're delighted with this championship. Very different format. Remember, this kind of quick fire 4 times 4 hour races, grueling at times for everybody, but I think actually people enjoying it.
Yep, I don't think there's been a bad word said about it in terms of the way that it's been done and run, and going to these 2 tracks and just getting so much track time in such a short space of time. I think everybody's enjoyed it. Plenty of action.
As we watch Wayne Boyd cross the line to start his flying lap, the number 23 United Autosports car, the form car of the season so far.
Yeah, they have been exceptional.
Plenty to be said, by the way, in the 2 4-hour races about the efforts taken to make this all happen, and about those who work so hard to make it happen against the odds. And it is such a delight to be able to say, let's go racing, after long periods of time when that's been a real struggle. And if you're joining us from around the world, and we know you are, we're delighted to have you with us. We're delighted to provide some entertainment at what I know is a very difficult time for a lot of people around the planet. And trust us, we're with you. Let's go racing, and let's have a couple of safe races here at Yas Marina Circuit. Let's stay though with Wayne Boyd. Talk us around the rest of this lap with Wayne.
Yeah, he's coming through turn 8 and into turn 9. Very important to get a good run off of here. Traction can be a bit of an issue, but he's performed brilliantly so far throughout the whole of the Asian Le Mans series. Been a real driver to watch. And, he's on another really good lap, very precise. He's really hitting his marks. He's guiding the car nicely down into turn 11 and out and through there. Gets into a very technical part of the racetrack. Now hits the Phoenix car. And this is actually nearly where the car went off earlier on in the weekend, just to turn 17, turn 18. I just overcooked it on the brakes into turn 17 there.
He was having a clean run to that point, so just a little bit of a fumble, and away goes the rhythm. But we're going to see Wayne Boyd's time. Malte Jakobsen sets the first flying lap. It's a 2:04.764. What can Wayne Boyd do about that? The advice is round in a 2:08.096. So Jakobsen is the first man across the line. That fumble has cost the... and indeed gets
lap deleted
because of that track limits, of course.
Yes,
we saw that stumble.
To the top of the timesheets at 2:03.8.
So that's a cracking lap from Wayne. That's almost a second up on a young man we know to be very rapid indeed in an LMP3 car. Colin Noble comes through in a 2:05.0. So it's 1.1, almost 1.2 seconds between the top 3. But almost a second of that is courtesy of the stunning opening lap there from Wayne Boyd.
Very strong. Matt Bell pops into P2 at 2:04.5. Yeah, that lap of Wayne's.
It's a marker, isn't it?
It certainly is. He's put it out there, thrown it down.
Here you go. See what you can do about that. He says, opening up the Christmas present marked with danger.
And he's gone quicker in the first sector, so another purple sector there from Wayne. He's really on a roll here.
Well, these LMP3 cars, the Gen 2 cars, if you like, introduced into European competition the early part of last year, they're debuting this year in the Asian Le Mans series. We used the Gen 1 cars last season, and you can certainly see the teams that have had plenty of opportunity to get their heads around this. This is one of the Nielsen Racing cars.
Malte Jakobsen has just gone quickest in the second sector.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on Malte's times. The Nielsen Racing cars in their celebration livery for the 10th anniversary of the team.
Duncan Tappy up to P2.
So United 1-2 now in the class. So 10 years with Nielsen Racing. This is the 8 car of Matt Bell. He's working the task of trying to get back onto the front row. He's not going to do it here. He's had a poor second sector, I'm afraid. But Wayne Boyd is putting another purple sector, so sector 1 and sector 2. 2:03.851 it was for his first flying lap. Matt Bell has a lap deleted. He drops back behind Malte Jakobsen.
Malte just went to 2:04.2, so he improved.
Yep.
But he's not moved up. He is still P3. But I think Wayne's going to improve it.
Wayne is 2:03.851, becomes 2:03.694.
Yeah.
Didn't improve in his third sector. But it was...
Seems to be a bit of a theme with this qualifying sessions, doesn't it? With him seeing it a lot in the GT.
So he's still half a second up on Duncan Tappy, who himself has improved his own time in sector 1. But not to the extent that Boyd has. Malte Jakobsen, by the way, is within thousandths of Boyd's earlier time, as I say, I'll correct what I was about to say, because Wayne Boyd's gone a further 10th quicker in Sector 1. Quicker and quicker and quicker for the 23 car. They're looking to nail this title here and now, aren't they?
Yeah, he is. And the tyres just keep getting that little bit better, You know, as the pressure comes up, just gets that energy into it, and he's just really finding the sweet spot there.
Improvement of Andy Merrick up to 5th in the number 2 United Autosports car. Marvin Kirchhofer. He's not in the car 9. That's Colin Noble.
Yes. Yeah, there was a track limits for car 9.
I'm looking here
Colin
too,
Noble.
by the way. This is a cracking lap underway here from Milty Jakobsen. What keep with this car if we possibly can. He's gone purple in Sector 2. He was about a 10th off in Sector 1. I think this is going to put him on the front row.
Yeah, he just ran in a little bit deep there at 17.
Lawrence Herr, by the way, in the Duquesne, is currently sitting 7th, goes purple in Sector 1. So sure, it would be interesting to see what he does with that big back straight and the Duquesne. So all of a sudden, times are coming. It is Wayne Boyd from Duncan Tappy from Milty Jakobsen, but can Jakobsen just pop up to second place? He can,
yes. And
he's just 82 thousandths off Wayne Boyd's time. Boyd, though, is improving on this lap, and he won't be very long before he's across the line. So it's a 2:03.776. The young Dane becomes the second man under 2:04.
That's the impressive thing about the LMP3 class and the tyre that's underneath it. It's just that they can run out there for the 15 minutes and they just keep improving and chipping away and chipping away. It's impressive to see.
And importantly, Boyd did not improve on that lap. Despite 2 green sectors, he didn't deliver. He didn't complete that lap. So it's under a 10th of a second is the gap between 23 and 15. So Jakobsen puts him under pressure. Also quick out there is Lawrence Herr in the 63 car, the D-car engineering car. We'll see if we can pick that car up at some point. Jakobsen
spin for the Phoenix car.
Jakobsen is quicker again. So
The DKR car has got to be coming through in that 3rd sector.
Yep, so we're looking for the 63's time.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking Hawk-like at the times we're going to see through the 2nd sector from Milty Jakobsen. He's not going to be delayed, I don't think, by the issue for the Phoenix car.
Lawrence Herr should be coming across the line any second
Adam
now.
Matiki makes it up to 3rd position in CD Sports car. That's bumped down to 4th because through goes the DKR car.
To P3, yeah, strong.
Milty Jakobsen has a slightly slower middle sector, but it's still a good one. He has gone up to 2nd place.
Duncan Tappy's had a lap deleted for abusing track limits.
So, looking to see the end of this lap from the young Dane. What can he do? The moment it's Boyd, Jakobsen, Herr, Atiki, Tappy, Bell, Merrick, Noble, Leo Weiss, and Charlie Robertson has not unlocked that pace, I'm afraid, in that car. So we wait and see what we get from the RLR M Sport car at the end of this lap.
Maybe Charlie didn't get his wish. Charlie Robertson.
Does not improve. Does not improve. And is that the final throw of the dice for the RLR car at pole? But watching the Duquesne, it's a purple sector again, and it's a very quick 1st sector from Lawrence Herr.
Yeah.
More than a 10th quicker than the 1st sector that was purple previously from Wayne Boyd. So at the moment,
Milty Jakobsen's going again. He's gone fastest for himself in that 1st sector. But it's purple sector from the DKR car with Lawrence Herr. So now he's on a very, very strong lap.
Jakobsen has that, I think it's this lap deleted. He's not going to improve, but could Lawrence Herr just steal this right at the end?
Yes.
I say steal, win it at the end. Hell of a lap underway from him, and I think he's done enough.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. He's now in that 3rd sector, and this is important that he doesn't just overdrive this last sector. I think that's been one of the issues in that final sector with drivers knowing that they're on a good lap and then just asking a little bit too much of the car. And we're just still trying to find that 63 car. He's on that final sector.
Adam Ateki crosses the line. He does not improve, and here comes Lawrence Herr. He goes to the top. He goes to the top with a 2:03.569.125 of a second to the good. The only Duquesne in this session,
Impressive.
in this class, and he delivers on that package. It is a 2:03.569 for Lawrence Herr.
That final sector, though, was again not his quickest. So we're seeing that from a number of drivers and a number of cars.
Pole position at Daytona, by the way, in the debut in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship for the LMP3 class. That's an identical car with Mulner Motorsport USA, but this is the team he's rather more used to driving with. He's been an important part of an astonishing storyline for the Luxembourg-based team in the Indian class. 4 consecutive Michelin Le Mans Cup championships for that team. So Malte Jakobsen drops to 3rd and off the front row, and that track limits infraction cost him dear, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And we're just seeing now.
I think Her has lost that lap.
He has, yeah.
I think he's lost the pole lap.
Track limits at turn 13.
So I think we're going to see the timing screen readjust in moments, and it will be Wayne Boyd back to the top.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is. Colin Noble, by the way, improves then to 6th with that lap time, and still one more lap available here for anybody crossing the line in the next minute and a half or so.
Yeah.
And indeed, it readjusts. Lawrence Hurd loses pole position to track limits. Turn 13, was it, Ollie?
Yes, it was. Turn 13, yes.
And drops back into 3rd position. And unfortunately for him, he didn't get that message in time to keep pushing.
No.
Is he going to have another go at this? He will get one more go,
no,
I think.
I don't.
He's in the 3rd sector.
Yeah, he'll get round.
It's going to be tough. Gather yourself again when you think the job is done.
Yeah.
So
psyched up, ready to go again if possible. He's coming over the line very shortly.
So United Autosports, Wayne Boyd is on pit lane. He will.
Car 63.
Yeah. He will. I think be sitting there and waiting to see. DKR have pitted and will.
Yeah.
They've given best here. Malte Jakobsen is not on an improving lap at the moment and sits 2nd. So United from RLR, from DKR, from CD Sport. And
Colin Noble's on a strong lap. He could improve.
Yep.
He's currently in P9.
He's a battler, Colin. He's been one of the emerging forces in P3 racing for quite a while now. Tested LMP2 for G-Drive at Bahrain at the rookie test. What is actually two seasons ago now.
Right.
But there's certainly been interest in the P2 teams looking at young Scots. He had a crack at the WC season finale in a GT-AM car with Red River Sport at the end of last season. And he's a hungry young man for the opportunities that the sport is going to show later in his career. But CD Sport, don't think we're going to see any further improvements in this. Colin could still improve here.
Could, yeah.
Looking for him to come across the line any moment now. 2:04.424 was his best. And no, he's not going to improve on that lap. I think he may
going in the pits.
Have bailed out this one.
Yeah, I think his dash informed of where he was.
So that is our pole sitter by the look of things for race 1 later today. The number 23 car, Wayne Boyd will be joined by Finnish driver Rory Penttinen, Venezuelan driver with a British race licence, Manuel Maldonado, cousin of Pastor Maldonado.
He's the cousin, is he?
He's the cousin.
Okay, just clear that up.
I believe I may have got that wrong previously, and indeed his nationality and more or less everything else about him. But a quick young man.
You did apologise to him.
I did apologise.
Yes, you did. Very, very nice of you.
Yes, absolutely. Both in person and to the nations of Colombia and Venezuela. The international incident averted at the last gasp.
There was a huge climb down.
But we've got under 4 minutes to the next session.
So Adam Matiki has had a lap deleted as well for abusing track limits at turn 9.
So some of the form men there are on point. Wayne Boyd has been pretty much the class of this field. Malte Jakobsen, the emerging star, who could have improved, lost a lap that I feel he might have been there and thereabouts. I think track limits.
Yeah, the Duquesne is fast for sure.
Absolutely.
He just needed to string that lap together and keep it nice and clean and tidy and not overdrive in that final sector. And that does seem to be a bit of a recurring theme in this qualifying sessions for both the GT and for LMP3.
The other thing we've found so far in the 2 races so far is it's getting busy for the LMP3 cars with the GT field. There's not a massive difference between the pace, which means they're looking to deliver the if you like, on track position in the more dangerous places, in the more risky places here.
Yeah.
No section off on the Ginetta on the left-hand side there, the bright yellow car.
I think that they're looking to make some some improvements on that Ginetta.
Another interesting qualifying session there. Excellent stuff again from United Autosports. A little bit of a fumble from both Malte Jakobsen and from Lawrence Hurt for the two cars that will finish that session second and third. Again now, very brief interval, if you like, for the teams. They can change drivers if they wish. They can take the tyres off the car if they wish, but it must be the same set of tyres for this second session. Second 15 minutes is the session that sets the grid for tomorrow's race. Tonight's race, we've got our grid. It is the United Autosports 23 on the front row of LMP3 alongside the RLRM Sport number 15. 63 from DKR Engineering, the Duquesne alongside the CD Sports. 33 is row 2. Then it's United Autosports and Nielsen Racing, two teams from the UK. I wouldn't say bitter rivals, but big rivals in LMP3 racing. And that's that order reversed, but the same two teams, Nielsen Racing number 9 from the two United Autosports car, 7th and 8th. Then the final row of the LMP3 grid will be ARC Bratislava from Phoenix Racing. So that will be the order. We'll see those 10 cars in LMP3, and we wait now as the clock ticks down and the final car comes in. That's the CD Sport car just rolling down pit lane now. These cars will be turned around in rapid order, and we'll see them back on track for a further 15 minutes of qualifying action. 15 ready to roll, and the upgraded, uprated, more powerful 5.6 litre Nissan VK56 engine will be roaring. These new generation LMP3 cars, you can buy them as a new build. You can buy the kit to upgrade your existing LMP3 car, all cost capped. Massive bargain in international motorsport, and a rapidly increasing marketplace for these cars as teams see the commercial opportunities, as drivers see the opportunities to learn a trade in downforce racing in prototypes, an area of world motorsport which, well, by every measure, Ollie, is looking like it's going to become something of a force, not just within its own marketplace, but in the wider motorsport world, with the new regulations about to hit the tracks in WC and in North America.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's a great opportunity for a lot of drivers, a lot of teams. Cars getting released now out onto the track for this second qualifying session for race 4 here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi.
Yep, here's the Ginetta rear end view of the newest of the 3 cars that we're going to see out there.
I wonder whether Charlie Robertson got his wish of running a lower downforce car.
I think he'll be telling us later. That's certainly not the speed he would have been hoping for. And I don't expect to see changes in drivers in this session. It's going to be interesting to see how these cars wear those tyres.
Yeah.
Malte Jakobsen rapidly into the fray. He's first out on track.
Straight out into it, isn't he?
He is indeed. And he's a classic example, young driver coming in with talent and being invested in by the backers he's got and by the team that's been welcoming him into LMP3 racing. He'll be looking, I'm sure, to join the list of drivers where LMP3 has vaulted them onto greater things. Thomas Laurent made his name in the Asia Le Mans Series, moving on up to and through into race-winning WC Formula LMP1. Job Venutet, probably the more recent, and oddly, Job winning his European Le Mans Series title with this team, RLRM Sports. Now very much a driver in demand in LMP2. I'm sure the phone is beginning to ring from the teams beginning to gird their loins and see what 2021, 22, 23 bring with these 2 new sets of rules that will bring a potentially very large top-class grid to international sports car racing in time for the centenary of the Le Mans 24 Hours in 2023.
Yeah, it's a big carrot, and these teams and drivers, the drivers in particular, are looking at this opportunity here in LMP3 to really get that experience in a prototype car, the downforce, the tyre, the whole sort of setup and the way that a prototype car is run. It's a bit of a craft, and you need that experience in the car to be quick.
Great to see RLRM Sports at the pinnacle of LMP3 racing. One of the pioneer teams in LMP3, won a race, Imola, in the very first year of LMP3 back in 2015, when, by the way, Charlie Robertson in the Ginetta was the first champion alongside Chris Hoy in the first gen Ginetta.
So watching the Phoenix car here, they had a little bit of a lackluster run in that first qualifying session, and they had a spin. It looked like they were having some issues with stopping the car and getting it through that complex just around where the hotel is.
They're learning their trade in this car. This is the first weekend for Phoenix with the car. They lost a driver after Dubai with back trouble. But so doing this race with just 2 drivers, also had a big incident, as we said earlier in the show, with the car underneath the bridge of the W Hotel, and did a fantastic job to bring that car back to running. And Leo Weiss is just, I think, just learning the way with this car. We often see with LMP3, it takes a year or so for drivers and for teams to just unlock the code.
Yeah. It's yeah, like I say, you just need that experience in the car. But this is what the Asia Le Mans Series is doing, is giving a lot of drivers, a lot of teams, a lot of track time, and really, really good, valuable running, good conditions, challenging racetracks.
And at a time when that's difficult.
Yes.
A time when actually getting not just your people, but your kit between home base and a racetrack anywhere is not straightforward. You know, Herculean efforts from everybody involved here. It's great to see smiling faces, and yes, we can tell they're smiling even behind the masks, and you know, absolutely universal respect for the COVID protocols here in the United Arab Emirates in this Asia Le Mans Series paddock. People taking this very seriously.
Yes.
Despite the challenges that puts, particularly for the pit crews.
Well, it's a big investment, isn't it, for everybody involved, whether that's the teams, the drivers, crew, organisers, the racetracks, and you know, that's been the thing coming here. You can see everybody's all in.
Absolutely. Bit of a lock up there as Malte Jakobsen crosses the line for the first flying lap of this session. It's a 2:04.287. That's a quick lap from Malte Jakobsen. Colin Noble, who had his out lap deleted, that won't be too much of a problem for him. Matt Bell is another man who's just had a lap deleted, but Noble into second place, 1.5 seconds off. So that's not an ultimately fast lap from Colin.
Wayne Boyd to the top there, 2:04.1.
So this is it. It's a bit of a kind of, what have you got, Malta, from Wayne Boyd. So Wayne Boyd and Malte Jakobsen,
they're the two
going head to head here, aren't they? We'll have further, I'm sure, of these duels when we get into LMP2, and some really special talent emerging there. We'll talk about that when they get their moments.
Wayne's just gone quicker in that first sector. Purple there, so he's looking to improve.
But the margin's tiny. That purple sector is what?
It's a half a tenth difference between Wayne and Malte.
And Jakobsen goes purple in the second sector, so he hands it back. It's
my money's on Wayne to go purple in the second
you
sector
think?
When he comes through.
It's like two guys just battering each other, isn't it?
Yeah, just
So it's
throwing punches at one another.
It's Wayne Boyd from Malte Jakobsen. Andy Merrick pops up, by the way, into third slot. He's 9 tenths off Boyd. Waiting to see what that second sector offer is from Wayne Boyd in this 23 car. This is the number 2.
Disallowed.
And that will be...
Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. Wayne did not go purple in that second sector. I think he must have made a little bit of a mistake.
Well, this looks to me like the potential here is for Malte Jakobsen to basically get the bragging rights back here from Wayne Boyd.
Yeah.
It's
and he
goes
does.
top. It's a 2:03.781, 3 tenths per second up. That's a great lap from the young Dane. So 2:03.781 plays 2:04.108. We wait and see what the 23 car can do in the final sector of its second flying lap.
That's actually less than 100th off
what
Malte did.
Slide.
What Malte did in that first qualifying session. So he's really in the zone right now, Malte Jakobsen. 2:03.781 in this session, and in the previous session he did a 2:03.776.
Wow. So 776 to 781.
Yes.
Wow, 5 thousandths different.
Yep.
That's consistency. Duncan Tappy, by the way, going well. He's moved up to third slots in the order, 7.769 of a second down on these two guys. Wayne Boyd aborted that last lap and is not quick in this lap either. But ultimately quick, say not quick, In the real world, very quick. But Duncan Tappy has his current lap deleted. Yes, it is. And that was a lap he was going to improve on as well. So he won't be very happy with that. But them's the rules. Not seen Lawrence Herr emerge for a crack yet, but he's now out on track in the 63 car.
Yeah.
So Jakobsen from Boyd, Tappy and Bell, they're the top 4. Then Ateki in the CD Sport car, he's just improved to 5th. Andy Merrick, Colin Noble, Charlie Robertson, Leo Weiss and Lawrence Herr is the order with just under 7 minutes to go. There is Wayne Boyd. I think Wayne is just shaping himself up for a crack here.
Yeah, I think he is. He's trying to find a bit of track, but maybe just trying to get that tyre back to life again. It seems that coming out for this second session, guys are struggling a little bit more to get it back up into that operating window.
A bit of a weave.
Yeah. And it's proving to be harder for them to get that tyre back into that zone that they wanted in.
Andy Merrick gets a lap deleted. That will mean he will not improve at the moment from his 6th position. Watch as well the form of Lawrence Herr. He had the speed in that car, just not quite the discipline. Comes under the hotel bridge and round towards the final 2 turns. Tricky little sequence this, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Some of these corners are off camber and you've seen the cars really struggling for traction off of them. And I think that there's been a few drivers been sort of frustrated with that, and it is a bit of a frustrating feel when you want the car to hook up and really get underneath you, and it's just there, just not quite under you. As you got back to the power, that does lead to some frustration and also an element for you to overdrive somewhat.
Absolutely. Not a lot of improvement coming at the moment. Lots of green sectors. Adam Ateki, I think, has got potential to improve on the lap he's now on. He's currently sitting just about a second outside the pole position time. As I say, Andy Merrick just shuffles him down to 5th, to 6th rather. Merrick improves in the number 2 United Autosports car. Ateki pays him back. He makes that improvement.
Wayne Boyd's gone purple in that first sector, so yeah, he's got himself lined up, ready to go, and now he's executing.
So this is the lap for Wayne Boyd to see what he can do.
Yep. Seeing where he'll be now on track, coming out and down through turn 8, turn 9. I'm sure Wayne is.
That's Adam Ateki in the CD Sport car. He's gone up to 3rd. He's gone up to 3rd with his last lap. That's a cracking lap from the young Frenchman.
So this is the trickiest part of the track now. This is where Wayne just needs to keep it nice and neat and tidy. Oh, sorry, coming out of turn 9. Getting ahead of myself there. And this is down this back straight into turn 11.
So we'll see that second sector time in just a few moments and find out whether or not he is on course. He's got 3 tenths to find. He's quicker than he's been before. I think he's about there.
Yeah. This is a section you just need to use enough curb, but not too much. Coming out of here and down into 16, 17. This is heading back towards the hotel. And, this is where Wayne will be coming into this section just now. So he'll have a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but hopefully he won't catch that.
Not seen anything really from Lawrence Herr yet. He's still welded to the bottom of the timing scoring.
Yeah.
Charlie Robertson gets a lap time deleted. He's pitted the car and he's at the moment sitting in 8th of the 10.
Yeah, so Wayne just needs to last couple of corners now, just nice, neat and tidy. Good drive off this final corner.
He gets that, just a little bit of a drift there, and away he goes, crosses the line, and Wayne Boyd, 11 thousandths per second, but he doesn't quite make it. It is 11 thousandths off. It's a 203.781 from Milty Jakobsen. It's a 203.792 from Wayne Boyd. That's frustrating for him, isn't it?
And again, Wayne will be sitting there in the car going, okay, well, where can I just find that little bit more? Can I just roll a little bit more speed across an apex, or just pick the throttle up just that little bit earlier? 3
minutes to go. What do you do in this situation? There's a point up for grabs. That's important.
Yep.
But there's also tyre wear up for grabs.
Yes, there is. And so you're going to be weighing that up and be looking at the options. You can talk to your team and they'll be telling you, okay, how much do we really want to chase that pole, or, okay, let's breathe it a little bit. Think about the tyre, think about what we got. And
the answer from both men is they're going for it. It's a quick, but not quicker, first sector time from Milty Jakobsen, 22.4. Plays a purple sector, 22.341 from Wayne Boyd, who is pushing and pushing hard.
Yes, he
Answers
is.
us immediately. But meantime, Milton Jakobsen is through the middle sector. He's purple there, 51.827. He's not going to give it this one up lightly. This one is a battle to the flag of this session between those two men. Behind them, so they're separated by 11 thousandths of a second. It's 7 tenths back to Adam Matejki in third, Duncan Tappy just under 8 tenths back in fourth, and Matt Bell just over 8 tenths back in fifth. But he's not improved his time and gets that lap deleted for track limits.
And Wayne is dropped off the pace in that middle sector. So I think that we're set here.
I think you might be right.
I don't think anybody's going to improve now. It just seems harder in this second session for these guys to get that tyre and get the car underneath them for the full lap. It's the window that they're operating in has just got narrower and narrower. It's a struggle. Matt Bell, I think, has improved up to P4. He's got the Nielsen racing car up there.
He's just done that lap, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That is about half a tenth improvement, but another improvement. Andy Merrick goes fourth.
Bumps him.
The other story in this session, by the way, is the DKR engineering car that briefly held pole before having a lap deleted, finished that first section, I think, in third place. Welded to the bottom here, and he's way off the pits. Way off the pace.
And he's in the pits.
Yeah, he's not going to improve that car, clearly with a problem.
Yeah.
That's been something of the story of their championship, hasn't it?
It's really peculiar. I'm not entirely sure why they're having that issue.
It seems to be a catalogue of issues for that car. There's a bit of a wiggle there from Milton Jakobsen as he gets the 15 car through into the final sector of this lap.
Yeah, surely he'll be pitting this lap. I can't see the need to keep doing the lap times. I mean, Wayne is on another quick-ish lap. Not a bad first sector, but not a personal best. But it's high standards. We'll have to see if he goes any better in sector 2, but it's that sector 3 that is the real killer. That's the one where it's either won or lost.
Yeah, so Jakobsen is going to pits.
Yeah.
So that's session over for the RLR car.
Yeah. And it's not really an improvement.
It's not an improvement coming from Wayne.
No.
Just looking to see if anybody else out there might be having a crack at something. The only car out there that seems to be still up to pace is Matt Bell. Maybe Colin Noble.
The Phoenix car goes across the line, and that's
they're done.
Down in P9. Leo Weiss just hasn't.
Noble will not improve.
No. Leo Weiss doesn't seem that comfortable at the moment in the Phoenix car.
So we're waiting to just count down these last couple of cars to see whether or not there's any possible improvement. The answer is no from either of the Nielsen cars. Adam Matejki, the third quickest car, is on lap deleted, so he won't improve.
No.
Andy Merrick is not on the not up to pace. So Duncan Tappy it is. Moment quick first sector from Duncan.
Yep.
So Duncan may not quite be done, but we can certainly say at the moment that was quite a battle between Milton Jakobsen and Wayne Boyd, and this time the young Dane comes out on top to the tune of 11 thousandths of a second. The 2:03.781 was it 5 thousandths difference from his lap time in the first session just a few minutes ago. Still watching, by the way, this lap from Duncan Tappy. He's not going to be troubling the top two, but there might be something there for him.
Yep.
So there we go. It's RLRM Sport take pole position. They'll be utterly delighted with that,
yes.
and correctly so. From United Autosports, 23 car with Wayne Boyd, 11 thousandths, as we say. Adam Matejki, it is in third with CD Sports car, but 7 tenths back. And then right with him, 8 thousandths difference is Andy Merrick, with Matt Bell just another 500ths back from that car. Just watching whether or not we've seen any improvement from Matt Bell. And we didn't, did we?
No.
Yeah, so there's no improvement, but it was a quick lap from Matt. He's crossed the line now to complete the session. So Matt Bell, 0.766 off pole, 0.769. Look at the differences here. It's tiny.
It is tiny.
It's thousandths. But for me, it's the two form men of the class so far, with Jakobsen and Boyd. Really showing the way in that qualifying session.
Yeah, Jakobsen and Boyd have definitely been the class acts in P3 just here today. And, to be that far out in front in this category is really impressive. 7/10 up, but then you see Eteki, Merrick, Bell, Tappy, all there within a tenth of one another. It's impressive again to see, but they're just off that ultimate pace of those top two. Very impressive.
I mean, we're talking about 7/10 being an age. It's 7/10 per second.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It's you can win and lose that in one corner, or parts of it in several corners.
Yes,
it's tiny margins. But the tiny margins between those cars. You look at that, 11 thousandths between first and second, is 8 thousandths between second and third. Third and fourth, and it's 3 thousandths between fifth and sixth. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Wayne will be sitting there, looking at the data, just knowing, okay, I just dropped a tiny amount here into turn 1, or whether it's into turn 5 or 7, and you'll be running the lap again in your head and what you did. But it is just qualifying and endurance racing. We've got 4 hours coming up later on this evening, and qualifying will be forgotten once the red lights go out and we get racing.
So 4.5 minutes for the next session. Remember, we've still got the LMP2 cars to come, and we've got some real talent to come aboard those cars. Lots to talk about in the next half hour or more of the sessions. LMP2 with some new names to sports car racing, as we see the Aero Motorsport car there, the blue number 18 car being pushed out on the dollies, ready to go off the jacks. Stick with this. We're not sure who we're going to see in this qualifying session aboard one or two of these cars, but if one of the names appears, you are potentially going to see something very special. I think you and I have both been pretty convinced, and we'll talk about this young man if and when we see him out there.
Yeah.
But something really special emerging here from the Asian Le Mans Series. Some real talents up and down that 6-car field that will be seen today. But one man in particular, I'll name him here, and we hope we're going to see him with Franco Colapinto. We'll wait and see. Before we get to the LMP2s, though, we're going to go back to Zara, who's down in pit lane with the pole setter in LMP3, Malte Jakobsen.
Thanks, and here we are at the RLR garage with Malte here, who's just stepped out. Malte, how was the, he got race 4 for the pole position, so how was that?
I mean, it was 2 qualifyings this time, and it was a P2 in the first one, which I'm happy with, and then a pole position in the last one. We have been working really hard on a good qualifying car this time and a good race car as well. So I think I showed what the team can do for me.
Awesome, thanks so much. And I beg your pardon, I did mean to say race 3 earlier. Thanks so much, Malte. Back to the studio.
Well, Malte Jakobsen, yet another talented endurance racer coming from Denmark, and what a fantastic heritage that small nation has got, and the respect that they've got actually throughout the world of motorsport. You've raced, of course, alongside a talented Dane for much of your career.
Yes, yeah, raced against and with Jan Magnussen for many years, and his son Kevin was in Formula 1 and he's now moved to sports car racing with Ganassi. He's got a great future with those guys, but here's another great talent, Malte Jakobsen, coming through, really showing his class and his form, fighting Wayne Boyd there for the pole position there for race 4. And I think that, those two, if you can get them out there in those cars at the end of that race, here, either tonight or tomorrow, I think it's going to be spectacular.
Absolutely. Young teenager going up against the established star, the reigning champion, European champion, in Wayne Boyd in LMP3, and not in any way fazed by that. And great to see as well him acknowledging the part of this puzzle that is actually not the drivers in the car, but the team are preparing that car, just basically engineering tenths into that car.
Oh, that's one of the things you can see here in the paddock. The teams working together, but also then focusing on their package and trying to get their cars and their drivers to the front, and you can certainly feel that team sort of cohesion and everybody sort of working well together. It's such a team sport, this sports car racing. So
he's going to be looking to see what he can do about squeezing best results they possibly can out the 15 car. He's already assured of a full season of European Le Mans Series racing in LMP3, and we'll see whether or not RLRM Sport can challenge the well-established dominance now of United Autosports across a full season, both here and in Europe. But before we get to talk about that, we get to talk about this. And this is LMP2. The very first time LMP2 machinery has been seen here at Yas Marina. 2 debuts in 2 weekends after the first time these cars raced at Dubai Autodrome. They raced well. We're looking forward to see just how this Yas Marina circuit suits this mixed class sports car racing. It's never seen it before at this level. We, of course, have the Gulf 12 Hours every year, but that's been GT3 and LMP3, not these near 600 horsepower Gibson V8 powered LMP2 cars. The 26 car, double winner, courtesy of real pace from the 26, but also keeping it on the island as others faltered.
Oh yes, absolutely. They really did the basics well, and just kept, doing the pit stops and really executing on what they needed to do. Not a slip from any one of the drivers, and they came away really convincing winners for both rounds in Dubai.
Ferdinand Habsburg it is at the wheel of the 26 car. He's on qualifying duty for that car. We've got a couple of changes from the Dubai order into the other cars. The green Phoenix car you can see in the foreground of the picture there. That car shifts from Stoffel van Dorn in the car to Tom Blomqvist here, alongside Sean Galeal, and we're waiting to see whether or not it's going to be Sean or Tom there. And in the Jota Sport, apologies, I've just called the wrong car, hasn't it? It's not the Phoenix car with Galeal, it's the other car, it's the other green car, the 28 car. We'll see Blomqvist and Galeal. The number 5 car, we saw Nicky Team duking it out in Dubai. This time round, it's Kelvin van der Linde who gets his LMP2 debut, the young South African Audi Sport GT driver, pretty clearly putting a marker down for what the possibilities might be for the future of his career in the next couple of years. As we were saying in the earlier sessions there, with a sea change about to take place in sports car racing around the world, lots of teams, lots of drivers, lots of factories, lots of everything beginning to look closely at what the opportunities are. This is the 18 Era Motorsport car, the team out of the USA and operated here by Jota Sports, but a massive commitment from the LMP2 AM entered car, and they're committing not just to this full season in Asia, but also to a full season in the European Le Mans Series, and also a full season in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Travel worries? What travel worries?
It's going to be busy boys, really busy boys. I mean, this is going to be an interesting session just to see what people can do, what cars can do, but also how things are going to run. The Jota team have had
traumas.
A trauma. They had an off in turn 2 in one of the earlier sessions, in one of the test sessions earlier on in the week, and they've been working frantically to get that car back together. And when we walked into the garage, they were rifling around in boxes trying to find the rest of the exhaust system, and fortunately they managed to find it, get it all back together. And I mean, this is it was touch and go for a while, but they really have got themselves, I mean, the car looks beautiful and they've really got it all back together with lots of spares. But these boys have been working super hard through the night to get this.
They have indeed. A supreme effort from them. It's a new exhaust system for the Oreca 07 with the cars in 2021 spec, and there's not many spares around, and they're going to have to be careful here. I don't think there's much left in the locker in terms of the spares as the car begins to cycle up. It's not going to be long. In fact, we're actually already got clock running, so we're waiting to see the cars off the jacks and who's going to be out there. Then we'll tell you who's in the rest of these cars.
Yeah, I think that all of the teams are sitting there looking at the clock and going, right, well, this is going to be 1, 2, possibly 3 laps, but that's it in their qualifying session, because they're then thinking what's coming again for the next 15-minute session for race 4.
Yeah, so remember, circuit records to be established in this class, never been seen here before.
No.
And it's been good to see that the people actually watching around the circuit, whether or not it's the marshals, the loyal marshals here, loving something a little bit different from the normal fare. Very busy circuit here, actually trying to get circuit time in the Gulf right now, very, very difficult. So we've had packed programs both here at Yas Marina and indeed at Dubai, but people delighting to see international sports car racing at this level here in the Gulf, and I've zero doubt that at some point we'll be back with the Asian Le Mans Series, certainly with ACO Rules Racing. There are lessons to have been learned here about what's been achieved. 26 degrees, though, that's pretty warm.
Yes, it has been warmer here than we've experienced in Dubai. We haven't had any of that fog in the mornings, and so the humidity is lower as well, and it certainly feels dry, when you're out there. You know, as a driver, you're going to have to take, you know, looking after yourself, really taking on those fluids, making sure you're preparing yourself before you get in the car, you know, loading yourself up with those fluids for days beforehand. But there, lots of these young guys are professional and experienced and understand what they need to be doing. Maybe some of the bronze or the silver drivers who are coming in, you know, they just needed that little guiding hand or helping hand.
Tyres coming to the cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of a sudden the pit crews become animated again, and we're about to see action underway. Little bit like a game of qualifying chess, isn't it? Lollipop goes up and away goes. I think the first car away is going to be the 28 car.
Yeah.
And
Good
I
to
don't
see
think
it
the Era
back
car,
out.
the Racing Team India car in the background there, the second dark-coloured car operated by Algar Pro Racing here, together with the two G-Drive cars, Sam and Stu Cox, double title winners here, and with the G-Drive Racing with APR combo, defending champions here. It's Sean Galale that will be aboard the 28 car, Jota car for qualifying. Arjamaini in the Racing Team India car will be on qualifying duty for the 64 car, and the young Indian driver showed really very well indeed in race 2 in Dubai.
He was going very well.
So the Gibson sings its song again, and the 28 car, effectively a new car around the existing chassis, after what was a very big shunt indeed.
Yeah, I think that the car went off the track at over 220 kilometres an hour.
Yeah. Didn't have far to go before it wasn't doing that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big impact.
So Jota will be looking to convert the potential of this package to the results. Black nose section on the Racing Team India car. I wonder why that would be. I wasn't aware they'd had an issue.
A little bit of an off yesterday.
If they did, I missed it.
In fact, all of that bodywork on the right side is new or a spare. The nose on the right side, maybe they had an incident that we didn't see.
We didn't see that. We'll catch up with Stewie Cox later. He'll be telling us. He'll tell us.
Yeah. Directly.
Very directly. But cars have been looking immaculate. The two G-Drive cars, not a mark on them.
No.
I mean, they didn't have the best of luck in race 1 with, I think, a bit of finger trouble following the engine change.
They still haven't taken our advice, though, on putting a different colour visor strip on one of the cars so we can actually spot the difference rather than just the number on the side.
I've always thought maybe a picture of Roman Rusinov with both thumbs up on the front of the car, that would work for me.
Brilliant.
28 car underneath the hotel bridge now, making its way towards the start-finish line to start the first flying lap of this session. While we're just watching that, I can tell you Kelvin van der Linde is aboard the number 5 Phoenix car, Carl Tilley aboard the 18 Era Motorsport car. It is Franco Colapinto aboard the 25 car. And Ferdinand Habsburg, as we say, in the 26. We'll come to young Franco as he gets up to speed.
Yeah.
For now, Sean Galale, his commitment to two full seasons, in fact, of this season. A man from Indonesia out of F2 and into sports cars again. He's been here before. He's been with us at the Asian Le Mans Series before in winning form with Fabrizio Giovinazzi, of all people, alongside him.
Yeah, he was going very, very well in both the races, and then he just got tripped up a little bit with a bit of traffic. He's laying the rubber down.
Isn't he just?
Yeah, you don't really want to be doing that, particularly when you have to use these tyres again in the next session. And I'm sure that the team will be looking at that with a bit of a sharp intake of breath. And but Sean himself, he's been quick, but he's just been caught up in some incidents on track, which have then really had a big effect on the way the results that the 28 car have had.
Absolutely. Remember, you know, to the team, the Jota team with Sean will be joining the FIWC later this season. Major difference there, of course, is we run on Michelin rubber here, and it will be a good year for the WC and the LMS this year as the sole tyre supplier. So,
Arjamaini is going purple sectors right now.
Kelvin van der Linde going quickly as well.
Yeah.
And we'll keep an eye on the young South African. That's going to be an interesting one to see as we see more and more of these GT3 factory drivers taking a look.
Yep.
Christopher Meese had a crack at Daytona.
Yeah, we had was going to call him Kurt Team.
Kurt Team, that would have been something to see. Nicky Team.
Nicky Team.
The other reigning world champion. I thought that might have been track limits there from the whichever of the two G-Drive cars that was heading to the sunshine. Here comes the 28 car.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that car's completely underneath Sean. It's moving around some, and he's maybe just trying to get everything up to temperature, and things just bedded back in again after it's all been a big rebuild.
So that slightly wayward lap from Jean Gallet was a 2 minutes point 389. The marker, though, has been set down here by Arjun Mania, 157.080. That's a good lap
that is
from the young Indian.
A strong lap.
And this is the number 26 car, the Hansa Ferdinand Habsburg.
Yeah.
Ferdy is where on the track? He's in sector 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
And having set the fastest first sector by just a few thousandths. And there's a battle within this team as well. There's a lot up for grabs here,
Yes,
not least full season seats with G-Drive.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're looking at Franco Colapinto, Ferdinand Habsburg, and the UVA, you know, they're all fighting over spots and seats and futures.
Absolutely, and you're going to be seeing, I think, some spice added here. And fastest middle sector indeed does go to Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, he has been the form driver so far, both in Dubai and here in practice and qualifying. I mean, he's half a second up.
Van der Linde goes through to 155.677 to take provisional pole. 1.4 seconds up, but it looks to me like both the G-Drive cars are going to better that. They can keep these laps together.
Yeah, Franco Colapinto goes to the top.
He does with a 155.339, quicker than Kelvin van der Linde. First weekend for him in an LMP2 car, other than a bit of testing, not a lot of testing, was in Dubai. He goes through and now sets the fastest sector in sector 1. I'll let him complete this lap before we start. I think what both you and I have come to the conclusion of with this young man.
Yeah, let's just see how it unfolds, but yeah.
Habsburg goes through into third. It's a 155.774, so 3 cars through in the 155s right now. That's 155.339 from Colapinto, Argentinian driver. Kelvin van der Linde from South Africa. I think he's had his lap deleted because Ferdinand Habsburg makes it an Aris 01 G-Drive Racing 1-2 now. So it will be a lap deleted from Kelvin van der Linde.
Carl Tilley is also having his lap deleted.
Yep. So we'll wait and see how that one goes. Habsburg it is that goes quicker in sector 2 and sets the purple time there. Sorry, apologies. Sets a quicker time in sector 1 than Colapinto by 45 thousandths of a second.
So the sector times coming in, and that second sector for Franco Colapinto is not an improvement, but still very, very competitive.
Watch and see what Habsburg's response is here. At the moment, he's 4 tenths down on the lap time that's going to set the grid for the first. He's quicker, though, by 4 tenths in sector 2 here. So this could be a challenge for provisional pole position from Ferdinand Habsburg. Austrian driver, remember, out of DTM last season.
Let's see how he goes.
And no improvement from Colapinto that time. I think he kind of bailed out that lap.
Yeah, he did in that third sector. He just
Habsburg gets his lap deleted. He's not going to improve on this one.
No, turn 9, using track limits.
So Colapinto from Habsburg, G-Drive 1-2, 25 and 26. Aris from Aris. Both these cars Orica chassis but re-homologated. As we look at Franco Colapinto make his way onto the back straight. Just a bit of a power slide.
He's going again though, isn't he? And he's just off the best for that first sector.
But it's tiny, the difference, isn't it? But these cars renamed for the Aris Russian limousine building operation, and an organisation that are keen to see the potential of sports car racing for their international marketing.
Just trying to get the power down there off of turn 9. Just a little bit loose. Just not quite sit down for him.
See what van der Linde can do here as well. That's another story in the making. Very highly rated in GT racing. Does his future sit there, or does it sit somewhere looking like this? Here comes the That's the 26 car, isn't it? That is Ferdinand Habsburg.
Yeah,
Pace seems to have gone out of this slightly.
yeah, it does a little bit. It's like they just missed the sweet spot in the tyre.
And it's 4/10 of a good Colapinto. While we're talking about this, I think both you and I agree, signs are that if this young man can deliver on the promise being shown by his absolutely blinding speed, as Kelvin van der Linde comes to cross the line now, and he goes second.
Impressive.
1:54 off Colapinto. That's a marker.
Yeah. That's it for him, I think. He's just backing off now.
Yeah, we might be seeing something special emerging here.
Colapinto goes 55.2.
So improves.
Indeed.
Where did he get that from?
Well, I just think that he needs to string all of his best sectors together, and I don't think none of that lap was actually a best sector.
Not even for himself.
No.
But still the speed is there.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
So he's just thousandths over his own best time, but consistently so.
Yeah.
And putting that lap together delivers a 1:55.287.
That has been remarkable over these last week or so, both of the races in Dubai and now here, this qualifying session, and all the test sessions and practice sessions we've seen. He's been fast. He's not put a foot wrong.
No.
He hasn't hit anyone.
No.
And he's 17.
Yeah.
And, he certainly seems to be an extraordinary talent. Someone really that manufacturers, people in some very powerful places, I'm sure, should be looking at this young lad to see what they could possibly do with him.
Well, he's got pole position here because that's not going to be beaten with the flag out, and the only other cars out there, Carl Tilley making his way towards the line. Kelvin van der Linde, as we saw, lifted right off. So it is another pole position for Franco Colapinto. That's a clean sweep of pole positions, isn't it, for him so far this season?
Both the poles and Dubai, he got both.
There's a wheel off a car there. Which car has lost that wheel?
That's a long time into the session as well.
I think is going to be the 5 car.
Wow.
He was going slowly, wasn't he? We saw the 18 car running through the shots, but it seemed to have gone by at speed.
Yeah.
I think that's the 5 car.
Wow.
I did think that Kelvin van der Linde had lifted off an awful lot.
Yeah, that's really unusual to see that. We're a little way into the session here. Usually when a wheel is loose, and it usually has this issue within a lap or two of just leaving the pits, but we're 4 or 5 laps into the session, and we'll get to the bottom of that.
Well, with a little bit of drama, there is the number 5 car, and it is the right rear wheel that's gone. So Kelvin did well to lift off there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, remarkably, set the second fastest lap time, continued, clearly realised there was an issue, and the car has lost a wheel.
Yeah, that is.
So the 5 car is coming back to the pits, but another remarkable qualifying performance from Franco Colapinto.
Yeah.
And the best news is we get a chance to watch this again in about 5 minutes' time. Yeah. But there will be maybe a short delay for them to recover that wheel from the number 5 car. Phoenix Racing will be looking to see whether or not there's repairs needed or whether or not that was just finger trouble. But that is the top 6 in LMP2. Franco Colapinto again for the 25G Drive racing car. 2/10 up on a somewhat hobbled, as it appears, Kelvin van der Linde. But Ferdinand Habsburg in the team car, half a second back from the debuting in this series in LMP2, Franco Colapinto.
Yep.
Then Arjun Maini, Sean Galale and Carl Tilley to complete the 6-car field here. But what can you say about that?
It's been relatively consistent, hasn't it? Franco Colapinto has had pretty much half a second, 6/10, 7/10 of points on all of his teammates in the same machinery. And it's now just only Kelvin van der Linde who's come here in the Phoenix Racing car that's got sort of close. Yeah. But still, if Franco had actually managed to put together all of his best sectors, he'd have been further up the road, for sure.
It's a kind of bewitching thought that we might be seeing an emergence here of a new shape to LMP2 racing, and that is going to influence what we're going to see at the very top of international sports car racing, maybe for another half a decade.
Yeah.
And, what part might Franco Colapinto play in that story?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to be seeing the first episodes of that. We already did at Dubai, but more chapters, if you like, here at Yas Marina. I can't see a weak point in his armour. We were discussing maybe the one thing we've not seen yet from the young Argentinian is an established player in LMP2 chasing him down.
Yeah, I
that
think
pressure from the back.
That's the thing. And, there will be a slip that he just needs to be under a little bit more pressure from somebody coming, like you say, a really established star in LMP2. That would really load him up, and then we'd see how he could then perform. But he has seemed to have cleared every hurdle convincingly so far.
And we're not even seeing him awed by it. I mean, we had a chat with him in pit lane during race 3, I think it was, after his stellar stint there. And he didn't even have the good decency to be bad at doing things on TV.
He even came and spoke to you, didn't he?
He did. And
which is extraordinary.
Absolutely right, by the way. We're looking at that 64 car. It's a whole new front and rear deck on that car. Front and rear deck and the front bodywork on it. So has that car had a problem or hit something at some point? We didn't see it.
No.
But we'll catch up with the Racing Team India team on that one. Sorry, Ollie?
We're now going to have to see what the Phoenix guys do. The Phoenix Racing team, with that car has lost that wheel. They'll be there sitting there scratching their heads, wondering why it's failed, why it's come adrift, that right rear. And then they'll also be looking to see what damage has been done.
But he lifted immediately after he crossed the line. So I think he knew he had the problem. By the time he got to turn 1, he was crawling.
Yeah, he was going slow. But it's that whole lap that he's done with the car, with that wheel either loose or adrift, and what that's done to the right rear, whether it's suspension, whether it's bodywork, they are going to be having to assess that very, very quickly to get themselves back out for this next session.
We've got to have a delay for that reason. As you saw on the shot just before we came back to the studio, the Phoenix car just recovered to the pits, and I'm sure the marshals here will have the wheel recovered in short order. Team, if they don't understand what's gone on, they'll want to have a look at that wheel and see exactly what's gone wrong. You can clearly see the problem there. 3 wheels on the wagon.
Yeah.
That is not a Reliant LMP2. That is an Orica with a wheel missing. But the number 5 car being wheeled back down pit lane with the support of the Phoenix Racing crew, bolstered here, by the way, by a number of team members from the high-class racing effort that are loaning their car, renting their car to the team for this weekend and for whatever emerges for them for the remainder of this year. Just
trying to see on that right rear if there's any evident damage
to it. Didn't look too bad.
No, it didn't. And they might be able to get just another wheel straight on. But they'll be wanting to look at the nuts, and they'll be wanting to see why it failed.
Absolutely.
Was it just that it wasn't gunned on fully, or was there something else going on?
So we'll wait and see what emerges here. Are we going to see 6 cars back into this session, or is it just going to be 5? The session will start at 11:32 local time, and that is about now. So we're about to get back into action. We're going to see any changes in the order here. Did anybody keep anything in the locker? Remember, same set of tyres. Same set of tyres involved for this session with what is a slightly longer gap. Those tyres will have come off the cars, I'm sure, back into the warming ovens.
Yeah, they'll be looking at adjusting those pressures, just looking at that, making sure that they've got that in the optimum. The engineers would have been sitting there looking at all that data, they're getting the telemetry back, and they'll be just going, okay, right, well, that right rear got a little bit too high, or that left front just needs a bit more pressure. They'll be just looking to make all those adjustments just to get it again optimum for this next session, just starting now.
You're Ferdinand Habsburg in this instance aboard that 26 car, who would look very quick, but just, you've got to say that's got to be mildly demoralising.
Yes, it has, and he's going to be. I know, last night he would have been sitting there poring over the data and trying to see where it is that Franco Colapinto is just that little bit quicker, and it might be that Franco's just that 1k an hour quicker across an apex, but it's across multiple apexes, and it just all adds up.
Yep.
And it might just be that he can just get through those slow speed corners a little bit better, or we can just roll that bit more speed, just not so much brake pressure. All of these little margins you're looking at, it could be that his style is particularly suited to these P2 cars.
Absolutely. Lest we forget, by the way, is not Franco Colapinto's car, but this car, the 26th, and has taken both race wins so far, and sits very much in control of the championship.
Yeah.
The destiny of the championship very much in the hands of this team and the way they approached this race. And the way they approached both the other races was it was speed and consistency.
Yep.
One error, there was one drive-through penalty.
Oh yes, yes. That was for passing a car around fully off track, wasn't it?
So one error for that team, but other than that, absolutely raw consistency with René Binder, with Yifei and with Ferdinand Habsburg, and shuffling the pack a little with Habsburg doing the middle stint in the second race. Yifei did that stint in the first race, just testing out the strengths and weaknesses of the combination.
I think they were just looking at who they were going to put up against Stoffel Vandoorne, seeing how they stacked him against a known quantity that he is. But I think that it's pretty clear from both of those races that the fastest guy in that car in P2 at the moment is Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, and that's going to be important as to what happens next once we've finished here with the Asian Le Mans Series. And remember, that will be in just 2 days' time, because also here, watching like a hawk, is Roman Rusinov, not racing this weekend, Roman, but watching and making decisions alongside David Leach, his technical director at G-Drive Racing, as to what we're going to see for the European season.
You've got to think that Franco's name is, penciled in at the top of the team sheet right now. It's not inked in, but it's certainly penciled in. But he's got some strong competition in Ferdinand Habsburg and Yifei.
Yifei, another very talented young man. We saw him with the hot lap earlier in the broadcast, and we had a chance to speak to him on camera, both down at the garage and up in the studio here. I'm very impressed indeed by the way he's gone about his racing and his application to this one. Not in any way short of pace himself, and a bit more experience at the international level, albeit in single-seaters, than Franco Colapinto. That's a big lock-up ahead of the 18 car from the G-Drive car. Just saw him coming through the rather smoke cloud there. But teams now out on these opening warm-up laps, winding up now on their first flying laps of this final session of this qualifying show. Number 18 car there, second car run here by Jota Sports. The LMS entry, by the way, will be looked after by the Edic Sports operation that ran the car looking at here at Le Mans last year. Big problems for both cars in practice, qualifying 2 big shunts and a replacement car for the Edic Sport crew, and a major repair to the Era Racing car, and then had faultless runs through the Le Mans 24 Hours to score very good finishes indeed, with unfortunately Dwight Merriman, who is the passionate businessman that anchors this effort. Colapinto, by the way, gets a lap deleted. It's almost worth a headline.
I know, he's actually done something wrong.
So Dwight Merriman forced to miss out on the Le Mans 24 Hours. Clearly, he's pushing very hard to be back there this year. But he was replaced by none other than Patrick Pilet. Patrick was stellar.
Yeah, he did a great job, didn't he? So there we go. There's Ferdinand Habsburg goes to the top of the timesheets with 56.07.
So that's nearly 8 cents up on the best of Sean Galale at the moment. Sits second, and then Carl Tilley has come through, but is a little way off. Not a competitive time yet from Carl or from Arjun Maini.
That's 3 tenths for Ferdinand. That's 3 tenths off his best in the first session. So he's getting there, and he's maybe just talked things through with his engineer, just had a little bit of an update on where he's losing some time, and then just made a few little improvements. He could have told the engineer, okay, I just need a little bit more on the front end here, or just a little bit more traction, and they could have made those tyre pressure adjustments just to help him. He's certainly getting after it off of turn 8 and turn 9. So Franco Colapinto has gone quickest in that first sector. He's actually at the moment down in P5, but now he's gone fastest for himself in the second sector.
This is Habsburg, 26 car. This is the professional pole sitter at the moment with 9 minutes to go in the session. Yeah. Plenty of cars to play though just below in the order. It should say, by the way, just now out of pit lane comes Kelvin van der Linde. So he'll be a little bit off the kind of the rhythm of the leading cars here, but might come into play right at the end of this session. So Habsburg is improving the time. 1:56.073 does not improve overall, though.
No.
That will be a disappointment, I'm sure, to the Austrian driver.
Good to get on to Franco's lap just to see exactly how he's going.
Yep.
Certainly in that last sector, it's tricky.
Colapinto goes through 63 thousandths off
Yeah.
Habsburg's time, and also improving, by the way, briefly up to second, now drops back to third. Sean Galel, 1:56.429, so it's closer this session, 3.5 tenths to the top three at the moment. We'll wait to see what it is that Kelvin van der Linde can bring to the party.
Yeah.
Hopefully that Phoenix Racing car with no further issues after that lost wheel after he sets.
That's
his
a good
fastest
point.
time.
What will be the right rear? It will have to be one of the jokers, maybe? The actual tyre itself, because I'm just not sure.
I don't think they have to carry these tyres over. I don't think they do. It's a longer quality, I think.
No, but in terms of the tyre that they use and put on the car.
Good point.
Because I'm not sure they'd have retrieved it from down in turn.
That's a very good point.
Turn 11.
So, still on his outlap, Kelvin van der Linde. Says 1:56.0 plays 1:56.1 to 1:56.4 to 1:56.8. Arjen Mine also improving. Almost 8 tenths back from Ferdinand Habsburg. So Habsburg at the moment.
Yeah. And Colapinto's on his second lap and he's not improving. He's had a bad first sector and he's just breathing a little bit, just giving the tyres just a little bit of time to recover, and then he'll go again.
Yeah, I think he's abandoned this as a qualifying run, hasn't he? He's going to complete the lap as quickly as possible to go again. So Habsburg, Colapinto, Galel, Miney, Carl Tilley. We wait for Kelvin van der Linde to complete his outlap and get onto his first flyer. And we've got 7 minutes to go of this qualifying session here at Yas Marina. The qualifying session that will set the grid for tomorrow's 4-hour race into darkness under the floodlights here in Abu Dhabi. There's no improvement this time around from Habsburg. It is a marginal improvement again from Sean Galel, 1:56.302. He's finding his pace and his feet. It's good news for the Jota guys. Carl Tilley, no improvement there either. Arjen Mine, still 7-8 tenths back. Slightly quicker lap, I think, is in prospect here from the Indian driver.
Franco Colapinto's pitted.
Well, now what'd that be about?
Yeah, maybe he just
Can't
feels
change tyres, remember?
Yeah, maybe there just is. That's it. That's all it's got. Maybe he used up too much in that first session. I don't know. He could be coming in and having a chat. Maybe making a little bit of tyre pressure adjustment. Are they allowed to do that?
They can.
Yep.
They can do whatever they like with those tyres, other than change them.
Yeah.
So is this an opportunity here for Kelvin van der Linde to
Yep.
play a part, or are we going to see Colapinto back into action? It is a purple middle sector from Ferdinand Habsburg, so this is the point at which the older, more experienced driver picks up the heavy gauntlet and gives the young Argentinian a smack around the head with it.
Indeed. So we'll see. Sean Galel has actually performed better in this session than he did in the first one. He's gone 3 tenths quicker than he did. I was saying he did. He's actually just having his lap time deleted.
It's his current lap time, but he was way off on that. It was, he had a very slow middle sector, so I wonder if he's had a bit of a slightly wayward moment there.
Yeah.
There is Kelvin van der Linde. He crosses the line. 2:01 from Kelvin, so that is not an ultimately competitive lap.
This must be a sighter, just getting everything back underneath him, just getting warmed up again.
1:56.117 from Ferdinand Habsburg. That is not an improvement. Sorry, not an improvement.
No.
And no sign at the moment of Colapinto emerging from the pits.
No, I'd say that's it for Ferdinand Habsburg. And no, there's no sign of Colapinto coming out on track. So this might be it. He doesn't get a clean sweep on the pole positions, does he?
He doesn't. So
Doesn't look like it anyway.
it doesn't look like that. It's Kelvin van der Linde's current lap, by the way, is deleted for abusing track limits at turn 1. So that was gone early from Kelvin. Needs to just gather himself. He's got time to get around and have another crack at this.
Yeah.
It was a quick first sector from him, though.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think that's done for Franco Colapinto. If he's going to be coming out to have a crack at this, it needs to be pretty soon. Ferdinand Habsburg is clearly thinks enough has been done here.
Yeah, I think that he's relatively confident in that, or he's confident in that he's given it his best shot, and there's nothing else, nothing more he can do.
Just looking for Kelvin van der Linde to complete this lap and carry on out. He might well have the entire track to himself, you know.
Yeah, he could. He's setting good sector times.
Yeah.
In the Phoenix car.
So we've got our top 4 in the 156s.
Yeah, nobody's broken into the 55s, have they? Seems to be a little bit more degradation in the P2s than there was in the other classes.
Absolutely. And this is Habsburg cruising around to pit, no doubt. Where is the Phoenix Racing car? He goes through. Now that lap will be deleted, but that was a 1:59.165, so not good enough.
No, but it'd be good to get on him and see exactly what he's doing and how he's driving the lap, how much he's using the curbs. There's moments of any possible track limits.
There we are. This is the 5. He's popped over the curbs there.
Yeah.
So you talk us through this part of the lap, Ollie.
Yeah, he's coming through turn 7 now, looking at a really good slingshot out of here onto this long back straight, rowing up through the gears. He got a bit of extra curb there, but traction seems to be pretty decent. Nearly 300 k's down here, hard on the brakes into turn 8. See the front of the car porpoising on the bumps there a little bit. Yeah. On the brakes, just trying to get it in, making sure he just overran that apex, and that's going to compromise him for this exit out turn 9. The rear of the car really fishtailing around. It was hard on the power. It's off camber there, which is, I think, is a frustration for some of the drivers. Coming down and into turn 11, hard on the brakes. And again, he's made a bit of a better fist of that through the apexes. Okay.
Well, that's an ebullience for Ferdinand Habsburg. That will be a relief, I think, to him. He's very happy with that, and quite right that he should be.
Yeah.
That was a very good effort indeed to set pole position. Jamie Campbell-Walter there.
Yeah.
There's a face from the past.
Indeed. He was sort of giving a bit of a wry smile, sort of going, "Oh, you can do it. There you go. You know, you've beaten the youngster."
Well, there's a man with, Jamie, ex-FIGT world champion, rather, ex-FIWC champion at GTM.
Absolutely.
And now looking after a number of drivers, including Ferdinand Habsburg, and indeed, for that matter, Franco Colapinto.
Indeed.
But a new life in management as across the line comes
Kelvin. Phoenix
Racing. And he goes up into 4th position. He goes ahead of Arjamini.
Yep.
So he's got one more lap if he wants it here.
Yep.
So 1:56.466. He's just 4/10 off pole, you know.
Yeah, he is, and you know, it was a pretty strong lap,
and it did look a little bit ragged in a couple of places where.
Yeah, he did all of that first sector pretty well. It was that middle sector that was a bit of a problem. Certainly outbraked himself a little bit coming into turn 8. Wasn't so tidy on this lap through that 5-6 section.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? See just what he's learned at the end of this long straight. He was quicker than he's been before in the first sector, 20.6, not purple, but green. There's time to be made up here and position to be made up on the grid. Is this a better run through this sector? It is.
Yes.
So
super important to get the run off of here.
And better there too.
Oh, absolutely, the car was really hooked up there.
So we'll keep an eye on his middle sector. So could he be making a bit of a run here?
Yeah.
For his 4th at the moment. He's just under 2/10 back from 3rd on the grid, just under 4/10 back. He's quicker in the middle sector, but again, not purple. But as we saw from Franco Colapinto's lap in the last sector, you don't have to be purple everywhere.
No.
You just have to hook up the best to make those improvements. It's at the moment certainly looking better than a 1:56.466. But is he going to be another driver that stumbles in this final sector?
This is a really tricky part here. This is really technical. Just sticking to your line. He throws it in there, gets a little bit of oversteer on the way in. And this is a tricky off-camber exit. Really, the car just doesn't want to sit down and hook up. And then he's going to run through this last couple of turns over the curb. The exit there, and he's throwing it in. He's just got to be mindful of the track limits here. Doesn't drop a wheel off.
And he goes through 1:56. He doesn't improve.
No.
It was the final sector again that did it. So unfortunately for Kelvin van der Linde, He's not going to improve. It's going to be 4th position for the Phoenix Racing team. He certainly had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
So we've got the pole position then will be Ferdinand Habsburg, the number 26 G-Drive Racing Hours 01. It's a 1:56.073, just 63 thousandths of a second clear of young Franco Colapinto in the sister car. So it's a G-Drive 1-2 from Sean Gallale. A much better performance from Sean today. The 28 Jota car, that will have done him a world of good, I'm absolutely certain. Kelvin van der Linde, having lost a wheel at the end of the previous session, then coming back out showing real confidence in that package, couldn't quite hook it together for an improvement on that last lap.
No, he couldn't, and maybe it was just playing in the back of his mind, you know, that wheel coming off, and then what they did to get it, what wheel they actually, and tyre they actually ended up getting on that right rear, and how it all worked with the rest of the package.
Completing that order, it's Arjun Mine in the racing team, IndyCar, and then Carl Tilley.
Yep.
So that's it for the qualifying session. A few impressions from you, Ollie, about the way that all played out.
Well, it was another exciting session. I'm surprised that that Ferdinand managed to beat Franco, because Franco seemed so dominant in that first session. But you know, credit to him. He came through, delivered, and Franco couldn't quite get that lap together. You know, Sean Gallale, good improvement from him from the first session, and Kelvin was just really trying to manage the car and trying to get himself a bit further up the grid from where he was when he first started that session, because it was tough just how with that wheel coming away, you know, the confidence would have been sapped slightly from that. So he did a solid job.
So that's it for the on-track action. We're going to bring you some highlights and the pole position winners in each of those classes. Quite like that way of doing things. 2 back-to-back 15-minute sessions.
Yep.
Adds a little bit of spice to a morning's viewing, doesn't it? Let's go back and have a look at just who were the cars and the drivers on form. Off, they'll be just going to pop into the tyre warmers. So the GPX racing car coming out onto pit lane, but it was the number 1 Hub Auto car of Raffaele Marciello that was the form man in GT. First year with this car from the reigning champions in the Asia Le Mans Series GT class, and here finally their new package hit form. D-Station Racing Aston Martin into the fray. But second session 2 went the way of the AMG, and the Italian sporting blue hair here, and we have to get to the bottom of that story, making it a double pole for the team after a frustrating weekend at Dubai. In LMP3, again the form team double winners in Dubai, 23 for United Autosports in the hands of Wayne Boyd, who would take a dominant pole for race 1 here, which happens later this evening. Wayne Boyd just seems to be in the groove in LMP3. This stage of proceedings looked absolutely peerless. But that was until the youngster from Denmark had his say in the second session and setting pole for the second race. That happens tomorrow here at Yas Marine in Abu Dhabi. Malte Jakobsen aboard the RLRM Sports Ligier. And he would snatch pole position in a head-to-head battle with Wayne Boyd. 25, Franco Colapinto, 17 years old from Argentina. His third race ever in LMP2 would set his third pole position in the Asia Le Mans Series this year. But Ferdinand Habsburg in the sister 26 car would back up 2 wins with a first pole position for that car in this series. G-Drive will be well pleased with this.
Oh, they will. They'll be delighted. I mean, that's a clean sweep for them, isn't it, for pole positions through these 4 rounds here in the Asia Le Mans Series. So, yeah, they're really sitting in the box seat. So
it's going to be interesting, the dynamic with Franco Colapinto. I'm sure have been buoyed up by what happened in Dubai and here in Abu Dhabi. But we're going to be able to hear from the man who actually put the car on pole position in the 26 car. Zara down now with Ferdinand Habsburg.
Thanks so much. Here we are in the Algarve Pro Garage with Ferdinand, who won pole position. How does it feel to be in the front of the grid?
Well, actually, my teammate will start the race, but for me, qualifying is always one of the most intense and fun moments on the weekend. It's that moment where you get the whole track just to yourself, well, pretty much. New tires, low fuel, just how it's meant to be. And yeah, then to come out first is like all that tingling sensation from the morning where you get a bit nervous is like relaxed and you're satisfied and you feel like you've done your part of the team, just like the engineers and the mechanics did by putting a absolute perfect car down, and just enjoyed myself on this track. As we now go into the races, this won't be the case anymore. So, and it'll be the last time in Asian Le Mans Series where you get a chance to have the whole track to yourself. So that's the most fun part of a race weekend for me, and I'm glad I could finish it on top.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and good luck for the rest of the race as well.
You too. Thank you.
There you have it. Intense. back to studio.
Great to hear the emotion there from Ferdinand Haasberg, and I'm sure that was a release of some of the pressure from the youngster in the sister car. But it's another question, really, that we often see. Endurance racing, what does qualifying matter? You've been in this part of the game for 2 decades. Tell us a little bit about the emotions, the approach to qualifying, even for the very biggest races.
Oh, it is important, and it's something that every driver wants to get out there and wants to run around on the racetrack. You know, as Ferdinand was saying, you know, with it pretty much to yourself, low fuel, new tyres, the car is really on its toes, almost alive, and you're sort of feeling this is the best time to be driving the car, best time to be out there and really showing exactly what you can do in terms of speed and pace. And you're wanting to beat your teammates, for sure you are. They're the ones that you're measured against directly. So, of course, Ferdinand is absolutely thrilled that he's come away with the pole position for race 4.
So that's the end of qualifying for this second and final weekend of this rapid-fire Asian Le Mans Series. I enjoyed that format. I hope you did too,
Yes,
Ollie.
great.
Thanks for joining us for this show. Remember, not got too long to wait. 3:45 local time. Check online whether that affects you in your local region. Again, massive choice of the opportunities for streaming and broadcast coverage worldwide. There was a huge audience for Dubai. I have no doubt whatsoever, with the cars looking fantastic under the lights, a bit bigger again. We hope you'll join us for round 3 of the Asian Le Mans Series later this afternoon, and then again tomorrow for the series finale, where we'll see champions crowned and 6 teams getting the news that they will be going, or at least have the opportunity to go to, the 2021 Le Mans 24 Hours. From Zara down in pit lane, from Ollie Gavin here with me in the booth, and from me, Graham Goodwin, have a good afternoon.